All
Hi,
right. We are live. We are live. Some of us are live. Alex Cosma just rolled back in. This is Milk and Cigarettes, Ep.5, where we are going to discuss whether or not the American Revolution was actually a revolution. I think words are important, and sometimes you have to go back in history and correct words that were used erroneously. We could also, if we went with the British interpretation, the American Revolution was an act of treachery. Obviously, that's to be disputed. I like to just let them have it. Hey, howdly doodly. Yep, I like to just let them have it. Fine, we're traitors. Chad, yes. What are you gonna do about it?
It's like your king is shit.
Yes, yeah, your king. Here's the mistake that was made. Now, this may not be true. This might be apocryphal. I need to read up on the American Revolution history, but my impression is that there was a couple of failures on part of the English to treat Americans like they were English citizens, right? And one of the things they did was they chewed out Ben Franklin. Okay, they pissed off the media guy. Don't piss off the media guy because he got chewed out by King George, and then Ben Franklin immediately came back to the colonies and started shit.
Of course, this was this before or after he got in bed with all the French whores?
I mean, before, during, and after.
Fair enough. Because it's sort of like, yeah, you don't want to get like as much as the Brits say, "Oh, we're so posh, we're so much better." French whores. You don't want to get on the bad side.
I mean, I don't know if this has actually changed. This might be an English tradition at this point.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
There we go. Yeah, yep, exactly. So anyways, they pissed off the media guy. One of the things I want to talk about today is the American, as they say, revolution. Some would say it's a Cosmo. What do they call it? Other people call it civil.
Oh, the Second English Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a big old ocean. We had no desire to reconcile. I think money usually plays a large part in a lot of human conflict. Yeah. And there was a lot of money to be gained by no longer being saddled with a lot of British treaties. But that's a thing that I don't know that much of. I just know a little bit.
Folks. There's no king.
It's been a while since I did heavy reading on it. But the Ohio Company was actually one of the big background money concerns motivating the Civil War from the American side. That essentially a lot of people in the colonies were heavy into Western land speculation, but essentially the crown wouldn't let them pursue it.
The
background thing.
Now you're good. The
also just another quick note, pissing off the media guy. Ben Franklin was a British spy.
Oh, you think so? I mean, where was he? Spy for the British or for the Americans?
Spy for the British.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Sounds like he'd play both sides. Did he actually do any actions against the colonies?
That is a little vague. It was the British intelligence services relatively recently, I think like 2008, actually declassified that they had a secret agent portfolio for him and everything.
Oh wow.
What does that mean though? Because he could have been just, you're a spy, but then he just didn't do anything.
Sure. They did not disclose the full details.
Yeah, I want to see This is like a tease with the Epstein list. It's enough to be tittillating. Like, what are they trying to do? Undermine the American Revolution? Probably. Right. I think Benjamin Franklin. This is my headcanon because when in doubt, headcanon it out. My headcanon was that he was probably either a double agent or just a lame agent. Just
could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like if anything, because Ben Franklin was often dispatched abroad. If anything, probably his job, if he was indeed working for the British in good faith, was just drag his feet and make things take a long time.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, kind of seems up to standard what they do.
I don't know what Ben Franklin's he brought a lot of money in, as my understanding.
Mhm.
But what was his role in the this colonial civil war? Which we got to find a really good name for this. I guess we call. You want to stick with the Second English Civil War? Seems a
I
good
mean,
name.
I think that's good enough. It's interesting because um, about a decade ago, maybe 8 years ago, I was like really deep into colonial American history and the history of the war. And there's a couple of interpretations that have jumped to the fore recently. One is that it was revolutionary, and the founding fathers were like the far leftists of their day.
Yeah.
Which also, like, man, the left and right paradigm was birthed in basically the very tail end of the 18th century, 19th century, and like I've said about the past, it's often like stupid and modern brained
Yes.
to try and to try and put that paradigm on the past. I mean, like with the Italian Renaissance, you're talking about actually really well integrated and I won't say perfectly harmonious societies, but the breaks and fracture points were in very different places. And I think there's some element of co-opting, attempting to co-opt the prestige of the past and these sacred figures for one's particular
Yeah.
political worldview that to I think to a dominant extent the history of ideas does not bear out. The other perspective is that this wasn't really a revolution. This was essentially a second English Civil War. It was a war between some of the colonial possessions and the homeland, following on like a century and a bit after the last English Civil War, and resulted in just a split.
Mhm.
Now, I think in terms of in some regard, the sentiments of both the colonials and the homelanders at the time back this up. The war against the colonials was not popular, or did not enjoy like majority support in the homeland. A lot of the British were very sympathetic to it, including large segments of Parliament that were actually pro
Really?
them, either pro them breaking away or pro them being recognized as sort of full participants in political sovereignty. The thing is, there's elements to both camps. Murray Rothbard has a very comprehensive history. Unfortunately, he died before he could publish the 5th volume. It's called Conceived in Liberty. Like, I think it's like over 4,000 pages. If you put all the audiobooks end to end, it's over 100 hours.
Good lord.
And it's a
Nobody got
history.
time for that.
It's a history from the start of the American colonial experiment. The intention was to be all the way through the Articles of Confederation period and the ratification of the U.S. Constitution. That last book did not get published. Anyways, despite being as long as it is, it's a gripping read, and it's like absolutely thrilling. Super interesting stuff. Like, you learn about the wars of the regulators in the Carolinas, and you learn about the Dutch in New York and how silly their names were. And he does a really good job of actually going to the political situation on both sides of the pond. Now, one thing, Murray Rothbard is a libertarian and does write with a very strong libertarian bent, even as a historian. He makes the argument that the war is revolutionary, and I mean, I think his text is foundational and super spot on, particularly in how movements like once a populous movement that is upsetting, the standard state of affairs due to, usually framed in terms of some particular injustice, that it has a tendency to radicalize itself. I think it was Cook's Rebellion. That might be the wrong one, but there was essentially a Virginia rebellion. It was like basically like a land and tax dispute. Where the guy was like very much this personal self-interest thing, but as it gained momentum, he sort of broadened and universalized the foundation for his claim. I think
How do
Rothbard.
you distinguish? Sorry, how do you distinguish a revolution from a civil war by your definition? Is it the outcomes particularly, or is it because we made a whole entire new country at the outset of this this war.
And what is what is a revolution? What is a civil war? You're kind of touching exactly what I was thinking, Luna, because I was pulling up this, just making this document here, because you touched on a little bit of grievance and moral struggle, right? That's definitely an aspect of a revolution. There's a moral basis for a civil war. Would be like, we don't like this tax policy, we're out of here. Or we don't like this policy or that policy, so we're out of here. A revolution is like, we reject your moral framework.
And we reject your moral framework, and we're going to, instantiate a brand new order, usually on the basis of abstract principles. From my perspective, I think Rothbard is right about, how there is this like purification process that shows up naturally once you find yourself at the head of, a mass movement or something like that, that you do have to work out and universalize. And he would hold that it was a revolution. I fall in between the two positions, particularly noting that the colonial leaders took great pains to, only gradually ratchet up their actions, and to always frame it as like, hey, we have the same English values and principles and, the common law, loyalty to common tradition, the same way of life. It's you guys, fucking it up for us. And all we want is recognition, or all we want is these things, and it eventually ratchets up.
Smuggled tea. Why do you make us have a stamp?
Right. Yeah, it eventually works up to.
There's no greater tradition in British history: smuggling and also begging French whores.
Right. We're going to make this argument that you have broached the rules by which we both play as British people, and your breach is so egregious that we're left with no option other than to leave. They're essentially the whole way constantly appealing to the shared tradition of way of life,
right?
And attempting to show dereliction of duty by the sovereign. The smuggling tea thing, like, man, it's early in the colonial project and the colonial model, and like it's still, super extractive of the colonies. And guess what? The Englishmen who live there don't like that.
Screw your tea. Screw your methods. Down in the harbor.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's a show when I was a kid. It's like Time Squad or something like that, where they had the one episode about the trying to start the American Revolution, and basically in order to do it, they gave all of the colonists coffee.
I feel like the tea stuff, the tea and the stamp stuff was kind of leveraged mostly in my understanding, which may be the wrong understanding, is leveraged to just show how the people of the English colonies, who are English citizens, are not being given the rights of an English citizen to have representation, right? That was the snappy line of like, no, taxation,
without representation. Yeah, they're having taxes levied against them without being allowed to participate in parliament. And the ability of through the parliament, the king being able to levy taxes legitimately is if the commons and lords of his lands essentially agree to it. And the Americans we're not in the parliament, we're not getting our fair share of representation, therefore we can't really consent to this.
Yeah,
it's essentially illegitimate, these taxes on us.
Yeah, wasn't it I'm trying to remember right. The king was sympathetic to the colonists and then the parliament just fucked it up.
I don't recall the details.
I'm trying to recall the details. It's just been so long.
Well, there's also a lot of BS I got fed while I was in public school, because they kind of framed it as being King George's a big arrogant twat, and it's like, no, it's probably not entirely true.
I know significantly more about the American Civil War than I did about the American Revolution, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, George III and I think Pitt the Elder were periodically Pitt the Elder was periodically in charge under George III. And they were both they both went through periods of going clinically insane for a bit.
Not exaggeration.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but it was some condition. Yes, they went insane periodically.
I don't know what it was, but I'm calling
Pitt the Younger was particularly anxious about getting older, that he would, fall victim to his father's ailment. Yeah, I have to look back into the details of that. I wish I'd done more refreshing on this topic beforehand, but
I know it's all good. It's all good. But on its face, right? Is this a revolution versus is this a civil war? And I'm gonna, of course, try to relate that to current day events, because that's what I do.
Right.
What is because I am I don't know if we want to do a show of hands, but you could consider me on the anti-revolutionary standpoint, because I don't believe revolutions. They usually don't achieve their own objectives, and they usually destroy way more than they could ever rebuild again. So usually, I see a revolution as being the beginning of the slow death of an entire people's, ethnically and civilizationally. I don't know if France has ever recovered.
The standard of the French is my question. When it comes to revolutions, well, I guess there's Spanish Civil War. But I think normally when you think revolutions, it's the French Revolution. It's what standards do you hold it by?
Well, what I'm saying is that the revolutions tend to destroy things they cannot rebuild again. They lose entire, I guess, in terms of Cosmo's language, they lose tech stacks that are almost impossible to redevelop, which will then camper them in the future forever. I would actually consider that's why calling things the tech revolution of the early 2000s is probably not a bad thing to say, because it probably was a genuine revolution, because it was a grievance and moral struggle against isolation and tradition. It's time for us to start putting everything online. It's time for us to start changing the way we work. We shouldn't have to work like this. We're going to have, even COVID, I would consider that to be a revolution. But that's getting more and more abstract.
The problem is that you're definitionally basing things based on the consequences of what had happened rather than the action itself. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's harder to pinpoint what exactly the difference is if you base it based on the consequences.
Well, I think it's the motivation and self-concept by the actors as well.
And a revolution, by definition, is them attempting to overturn something that is a revolutionary is the opposite of a conservative. Mm-hmm. I think, because a conservative is trying to preserve something, whereas a revolutionary is trying to reject a moral framework and reinstantiate their own. That's an act of destruction with the hope of creation in its wake.
Well, so that's where I think some of the modern application is, and why this is consequential. I mean, if I had to choose, I think, like I said, I fall somewhere between the two perspectives. Yeah. But, if you put a gun to my head, my answer would be like it's far, far, far closer to a second English Civil War.
I think we took advantage. Let's just assume it was a second English Civil War, and you could say that there are people that decided to add abstract moral frameworks into the founding of the new nation. Like there's just an opportunity to do so. You also might think that the 13 colonies being so discordant with each other, you have to put them into a new moral framework to justify their coexistence. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah, you in making a major break like this, you essentially have to establish your own basis for political legitimacy for what you are. To be able to coexist. One of the things like what America would be was like very much provisional after winning. And, the Articles of Confederation got codified, lived under it for a number of years, said this isn't working and went back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Technically illegally, and drafted a new constitution. But there was all sorts of debate about, what the foundation would be and what would be the means of establishing political legitimacy. And like some of the proposals were things like having kings. And it's interesting that that the anchor point is for the colonies separately, legitimacy in their long-standing sort of from time immemorial custom and establishment. I forget which one it was. Rhode Island's constitution actually eventually got rewritten and created a huge number of legal problems because even into the constitutional era, they were still running on their old British colonial charter.
Oh, that's funny.
rather than a state constitution. But essentially, like the appeal to the foundation of their legitimacy is essentially like English customs and liberties from time immemorial. Like we have lived like this for a long time, and we are made legitimate by having lived like this for a long. Essentially, the appeal for their legitimacy as states is their posterity and their past existence. Like it's a very, very conservative political foundation.
That's interesting, but also kind of weird when you think about it. It's like our entire lifestyle is doing it exactly the same way our parents did it.
I know it's not necessarily doing it the way our parents did it, but like we've been doing this for a long time. This is our settled ways. Not in any particular technological sense, but in the sense of like settling disputes and like people governing themselves and one another, like how they arrange their social affairs. And they're like, this is just established. We have been doing this long enough that it is just legitimate on the face of it.
I have a contention, which is very contentious, that America at the time of this founding and its refounding. By the way, I kind of consider everyone ratifying the new Constitution as them also just like implicitly removing the Articles of Confederation. I know that's not strictly legal, but when you've like agreed to marry the new lady, it's like, okay, well, you didn't divorce the old one, but we kind of know you've left her in the woods, So people will like refer back to old laws all the time. I was like, dude, you're going to become a sovereign citizen. One of the things America does is we tend to work. Our legal framework is not our God. It's not our religion. It's not like a God-given, like our God-ordained king has spoken.
We don't need a license for that.
Yeah, we tend to just. So we're a very pirate nation. If I was to say like Americans are an archetype, I'd say pirate for the beginning. But one thing I say,
a lot of the people at that time, particularly influential and important people, were pirates.
Yes, I was going to put the John Paul Jones' The Pirate Song as the intro. I might do that.
The Kennedy family as an American political dynasty goes back to before the founding. and it was as pirates. I forget
Yep.
the great
Badass.
sire of the family, but he was in I think the U.S. Senate.
You
And
think
it's
I
like,
was joking about the smuggling?
no, yeah,
No.
basically his entire career up to being a senator was being a pirate captain.
Yeah.
Yo ho,
Um,
yo ho, a
a lot
pirate's
of
life for me.
American democratic traditions also. There's a book on this, but I can't remember the name of it.
Well,
for
our
the life
nation
of me.
is forged in the use of force.
So it's also like the Federalist Papers and others do a lot of recourse to antiquity, but a lot of our democratic practices and democracy as a social norm actually stem from sort of pirate ship culture. Like the way Americans regard democracy is on the basis of pirate ships.
I have
Gary,
a
keep your
there's-
heart out.
Who makes the example? The problem with one of the problems with democracy is it's everybody on a ship electing captain. But if the majority of the people on the ship are not seamen, you're going to have serious problems.
right. You need Americans. The contentious part I was going to bring up was that you'll see that this is the wildest part of America, the wildest time in America, our founding, in terms of how far off we differ in terms of ideas, but also I feel like America, an American as an identity, became more and more solid as time went on, and more trials were hitting us. And I think that the legitimacy of we've been doing it this way for a long time, and therefore this is the way you should do it. That's definitely something that Americans over their many revolutions, cultural revolutions, has kind of thrown away. It almost sounds laughable to us now that anyone would say that. It's actually the opposite of legitimate to us, is simply that this has been there for a long time. I'm not saying that's a bad thing or not, but it's interesting to see how far we've changed from that.
I think that's why a lot of Europe kind of baffles us to some degree, because we look at them like, what are you doing? And it's like, well, this is the way it's always been. And then you kind of look at them like, it doesn't have to be. So like it seems very counterintuitive to what we think of at the time. It's like, oh yeah, we're just doing things the way we've always done it, and that's how we're going to keep doing it. But that's at the same time of the revolution, where we believe that we've really cut away from Europe and everything's changed.
Right.
Yeah, we don't do the cult mechanicus thing. Like we're way too iconoclastic for that.
Well, I wouldn't say the American Revolution was a cultural revolution, because essentially.
Oh no, this is beyond. Oh, I'm saying since the revolution on to now, it's just crazy looking back. No, the revolution, I think, as we call it, it seems like they were trying to replicate the English system as much as they could, actually.
Yeah,
but
or at least the purpose of it was to uphold their way of doing things, which is very, very English, and like very regionally English.
Mm-hmm.
You get some new developments and mutations because you transport these people out of their original context. David Hackett Fisher's Paul Revere's Ride is a great read, by the way. It's specifically on the background of Paul Revere's Ride and the politics of Boston and Massachusetts, and essentially what culminated in the Ride, and then the battles of Lexington and Concord.
Wasn't there a second guy? There was another guy that was like apparently did it further, but he never really got remembered by the history books because his last name didn't rhyme with whatever was in the poem.
Yeah, I don't remember the other guy's name, having read the book. He does cover that extensively.
The book, not the poem.
The book, yeah.
Not good.
So, but anyways, I mean, like one of the funny things, like preceding the Civil War, there was a pivot in how the colonies were managed. It's like much more, partially to stop the land speculation, deal with groups like the regulators, etc. The British took a much more hard-handed approach and started treating the colonials like aliens rather than countrymen. So that's one big thing. And like a lot of the culture had changed between the two countries. Among other things, British English, by and large, stopped being a rhotic language, like having hard R's, by the time the Revolutionary War started. And the British forces coming over actually, at that point, had very different accents, even from the people whose stock descended from the same region.
Yeah, people don't realize that how much the English. There's a great YouTube channel. If you just look up Victorian accent on YouTube, you'll find him. He does a great job of going through the changes of the English accent over time, and you could. That's where I base my time capsule theory of English culture, in that because they had a giant empire that spanned the globe, they left time capsules all over the world, and America is definitely one of them. Where some of the older, like some of the weirder accents that you kind of make fun of, like people make fun of in America, are actually very close to the Elizabethan English of the early settlers.
Yeah, I know that they talk about some of the Southern accents are like that, where they're actually traced back to certain areas of England.
Yeah, there's a bunch of New England accents that are like that too. Some of the really exotic ones are basically like isolated barrier islands, like in the Carolinas and in Massachusetts and stuff like that. It's super interesting.
I'm just taking some notes here to catch up on the whole Civil War. The Revolution, the main difference between the Revolution and the Civil War, it seems to be what your end goal is. Are you trying to make a new, not a new entity, obviously, because the Civil War also creates a new entity, right? If the South had succeeded in the American Civil War, then that'd be a new entity. So it's not about whether or not have you made a new state. It's about whether or not you're doing it based on ideology or not. It seems to be ideology is the main delineator between Revolution and Civil War. How does that sound to you guys? Does that make that it's an ideological struggle?
No, yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. And of course, like people might think, like, what if you're trying to take over your state, right? Like the slaves of Egypt, like rioting and taking control of Egypt or something like that. Well, that would be a rebellion.
Right.
Yeah, a revolution, and rebellions are usually more barbaric.
Right. Well, rebellions, the attempt, the intent is essentially to seize control of the state. Revolution, the intent is to radically overhaul, like both seize power and radically overhaul the state and social relations.
Yeah, I think we had to. So, to your point before, that I think the American revolutionaries had to do it, had to create a new abstract framework to hold the nation together, just because the 13 colonies were that different. And our entire government is kind of based on the idea that people tend to walk away from this government. And I think it was that way until the Civil War. I think the Civil War was the Civil War was actually more of a revolution than the Revolutionary War.
I would absolutely agree with that.
That is actually kind of funny. I didn't think about that.
But. I've never heard it posited exactly in that way, but yeah, it very much is like the South is like, nope, we're going to take our ball and go home, and essentially preserve our political customs and old standards of political.
Bring back the Articles of Confederation and set up a new government. I think, wasn't it in Alabama that they had their capital? I think it was.
I thought it was in Richmond, but I could be wrong.
That'd be kind of ballsy to have it that close to the line.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the capital of the U.S. remained Washington, D.C.
That's true. Richmond. It was moved.
It was Richmond. Yeah, they're like
Montgomery, Alabama. It was.
It was Montgomery. Okay.
At the beginning, and then they moved to Richmond.
Okay. moving to Richmond, it's like the two nations' capitals are 120 miles apart.
That's so funny. That's too funny.
But yeah, I mean, I think your point is fair that essentially, yeah, Lincoln actually was enacting a fairly radical revolutionary change to the nature of the Union. Just the difference was it was coming from the government.
Well, it's come from the one who won.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's like whether we were a conservative nation or a revolutionary nation changed at that time. And there's a lot of like revolutionary bents that I have with my own politics that I have to contend with. I think a lot of the issues that you have on the right now stems from the fact that the South lost, and all gallant, very European style elite politics pretty much died with that. Like any tie back to Europe, any sort of heritage back to Europe that was
God.
of strong stock, all of that pretty much died out because it's
now,
like
now some of the things that some of the British guys have told me are making sense, and I'm just like, oh God, no,
like
no.
what?
They were basically like, oh yeah, the South should have won because of reasons you were stating.
I think the South. I think whoever wins should win. I'm. I think if you've got to bring it, you got to be able to fight in times of war, and you have to be able to bring it. And one thing that people don't realize is that a war is very multidimensional. And I will relate this, I guess, in the later half of the conversation of like, what does the war look like right now? Because this whole conversation, I'm kind of moving over towards like the current day of, are we having a civil war? Are we having a revolution? Who's fit to win it?
Hold on, I need to put on my beanie.
I know, right? Yeah. I actually think that America is constantly a civil war because we're just very contentious. Like, and a single election is a civil war. So everything is changing. Nothing is guaranteed. Compared to every other government, compared to European governments of the sort of pre-modern variety, America is a hot mess. Like we're
kind of
constantly changing hands.
It's kind of weird how we define war nowadays, because normally when you say war, you think a pile of bodies and you mean like collateral damage. And that is very much not the case. And I don't think it's been the case since the Cold War.
We're in the merchant age now, very firmly into the merchant age, which is where I think actually the U.S. Civil War was probably the moment where the warrior class died out as a politically relevant class.
Would you say it's the Civil War, or would you say it's the World War I or World War II?
I'd say the Civil War was the beginning of it.
Yeah, I would say it's the beginning. I wouldn't say it's the end, though.
It's still nascent in Appalachia.
Well, the Appalachians are just sort of, I mean, it's there in a civil sense, but they fight a war. I have a whole.
I don't know if you. I think if you Thanos snapped meth and fentanyl and EBT out of existence, you might see a very interesting warrior culture rise again.
I'm not saying no, warrior culture as a political ruling class. There's always warriors. But it's like, are the warriors the rulers? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is the U.S. Civil War was the end of the sort of warrior class. I would actually
sure. Well, it was certainly the end of the aristocratic warrior class in the South.
Yeah. Now warriors are kind of just sort of not bottom. It's weird. It's very contentious of me to also say that we have a lot of things to honor our veterans, and the reason why we do so, it's a bit of a tin cup style of doing it, because it's smarts of charity, not really that it's smarts of charity quite a bit, right? Like it's always about how much they sacrifice in the struggle. It is not like a proper warrior class that's ruling they're not struggling. They're kicking ass and they love it and they're doing great. Like they're not someone who needs to be given a pat on the back or anything. It's like, no, I don't think modern people have seen a warrior class. So they probably don't know what it looks like. I doubt that the warrior class would speak for itself. Like you know it. I think General Patton was one of the last warriors. Like ruling warriors. And it's a shame to miss it. He was also a bit of a Europhile, but he was a hyper American. I would love to do a profile on him. I think he's like the most American man who's ever lived in a lot of ways, because he's also like batshit crazy. And to be a proper American, you have to be somewhat batshit, and just high competence, highly aggressive, highly charismatic.
But boys don't like that. Sorry.
Well, boys don't like what?
I was trying to make a bad joke. Boys don't like when girls are crazy. You have to be hot enough. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Or the hot crazy Matrix. I think it's yeah. So I would say the U.S. Civil War is probably way more revolutionary than the Revolutionary War, which count on the Americans to get it backwards, but we do all the time. Give us something to talk. Right. Yeah, give us something to argue about. I love the fact that I feel like we had to create this idea. We had to turn it into an ideological struggle, I think, just to sort of hold things together. Our union was very fragile from the beginning, and I think that the struggle was really it was really a civil struggle about what our rights were as English citizens. And I think that kind of puts you could feel free to tell your British friends that any thought that Americans could ever return to the fold, as they say, and become, British citizens and become English again, kind of died when they stopped treating us like English.
It's over our guns. No.
We're not your butt boy. We know that you think lesser of us. You showed so during the revolution.
That's what drives me so crazy. It's like the one skit with the guy that played Genie in Aladdin. What's his name? Robin Williams. And he has this whole skit about the freaking French and the British. And it's F you Americans. And then all the way, the Germans are coming. The Germans coming. Oh, come back, Americans. We love you. We'll let you open up your silly little, Disney park. We won't go, but you can have it.
Next time Americans fight for the English, I want to know how much land I'm getting. That's what our fighting boys deserve.
My problem with them is they talk down at us like they're so much better than us, but also they're letting their children get raped and they have no weapons to defend themselves. You can't even carry pepper spray, let alone a gun.
Yeah, a lot of that's cope, I think. It just is what it is, They're
it's you're acting like we're beneath you, but your system is so screwed up and you won't fix it.
Well, this goes back to the tradition of their parliament being retarded.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You cannot save people. I've learned this. I have to remind myself every day is that you cannot save people if they're really fighting with themselves.
Yeah. I could try to save one, but that's about it.
I can't even do that. I don't think so. If their biggest problem is themselves, they can only save themselves, sort of deal.
Yeah.
Even God can't save them.
Well, it can or won't.
Can't. I think can't. If the person's unwilling, they're unsavable. In my opinion, which is why we had to form a separate union in the revolution. It's because the reason why the thing is the revolution becomes more and more. I'm talking about the 1776 revolution. Becomes more and more legitimate as time goes by because just looking back in the mirror and seeing where things have gone, kind of indicates it. America is only been really involved in a lot of foreign adventures fairly recently. Like the Spanish American War was the first foreign adventure we really went on. You might argue the War of 1812. I think the War of 1812 was the state of Maine overstepping their boundaries, and then we had to sort of back them up or admit that the state of Maine was going rogue and trying to invade Canada.
Yeah.
That's a discussion for another time.
Gosh darn it, Maine.
We Americans just do shit. We are very self-oriented. It is a bizarre empire that we have, and it is an empire. I think after the Civil War, 1861, was it 1860 that it started? Either way, it was an empire because it's no longer voluntary to stay in or not. Right? It used to be that you could leave, or the idea was that you could leave, but as soon as someone tried to, everyone lost their shit, and there was a civil war.
Yep.
But the funny thing about the American empire is that we tend to be a bit we sort of became revolutionary over and over again after that, and that's when things started going haywire. Like any tradition that we had started getting superseded by whatever new moralistic crusade the Yankees had, or whatever adventure Theodore Roosevelt wanted to go on.
Yep.
Yeah, and we became a very different country. I think we've been through like 6 Americas at this point, oddly enough.
Well, time marches on.
Yeah, so we changed quite a bit. So if anyone's looking for legit, that's why I say that we've been doing it for this way for a long time as a source of legitimacy is crazy to Americans. It's crazy to modern Americans. We don't think that way.
Yeah.
And we're pretty bonkers. Stuff will change on a dime here. And the tech revolution is actually a pretty good example because it showed that if you try and become traditional, you are doomed to fail, which is why people say that we need to become more traditional. I'm like, be careful. There's a reason why those traditions aren't followed anymore. They fell to something else, or the price was too much. There are traditionalists, like legitimate traditionalists, but I don't really want to become Amish.
Yeah, I don't want to be Amish either. And I feel like there's a whole... Like, there's people that say they're trad, and it's like, okay, what's trad? And usually it's the 1950s.
Yeah, which is not traditional at all.
Yeah.
That's not, and it's only like the 2 decades, like 1950 to 1960, like 3 or 5, maybe.
It's not even 100 years ago.
No, it's not. And it's during a time that was extremely strange, like post-war, where America was like the only nation that wasn't bombed to hell. It's like, well, we're kind of rolling it.
That was before like a huge rush and like, what? Oh. Anyway, that was before a huge rush and the markets and basically a huge economic boom. So like the amount that you could afford in the 1950s is very different than it is now. Like you want to talk about how our economy, the dollar, like this is pre-petrodollar. This is back, I think, when we still had the gold standard, right?
Yes.
And so like this is before the collapse of the US dollar or it being kind of saved by the petrodollar. And so like what could be afforded, the technology, a lot of the stuff that was coming out, like the advertisements and stuff were brand new. And it was a huge boom of ideas. But yeah, it's and how it was lived and how it actually, is portrayed through the media is 2 completely different things, because a lot of what we see as being Americana 1950s, those are ads.
Oh yeah, those are all ads. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
it's like saying that the life of the Instagram model is like 100% true all the time, every day. It's like, no, that's advertising. That's a really luxurious lifestyle that's not real. It's all cameras, it's all fake. Now there is to some degree, some of it's real, but for the most part, yeah, you're looking at advertisements, and a lot of people don't consider it that way when they're talking about this stuff.
I wonder when the tech revolution, when you'd really say that actually took off. So for me, the tech revolution is when revolutions succeed when the tradition dies. Is actually so before you were saying like, oh, you're looking at the after effects to determine if it's a revolution, and I'm like, yes, I am actually. Yes, I am looking for the footprints to know where the Bigfoot has been, because the footprints of a successful revolution, like the trail of a successful revolution, is dead traditions. So if you want to see when a tradition die, that's
it's hard to pinpoint exactly when the tech revolution was, because we just had so many technological advances very quickly. Like it went from floppy disks being computers number one, then floppy disks being a huge thing, which turned into CDs, which turned into like, the hard drives, etc. Like, the floppy disks, not the floppy disks,
this is why I look for this is why I look for dead tradition. Yeah. When did a tradition die? The tradition of like, here's a good revolution. Live music pretty much died as soon as you got mass radio.
Yeah.
And there's an old tape.
The radio star.
Well, it's the death of live music was through mass communication through the radio. And you actually there's a recording of I was looking through Gosh, what's his name? Shit, I totally forget names. He does the speech analysis. It's not Medicare. Metatron. There we go. Yeah, Metatron. And he does speech analysis of like old Victorian recordings, and one of them was of a recording of a Victorian gentleman bemoaning that, like, because of recording and radio, music has fundamentally died. Because it used to be that almost every house had a piano or some musical instrument, or the family knew how to sing, because that's your entertainment, right? So now you go from a nation where everyone knows music to almost no one does, and it becomes a profession.
Yeah.
Like, it was a profession before, but it was like for special occasions. You know, like you have a special caterer at a wedding, but you still know how to cook at home. But no one knew how to cook at home. They didn't know how to cook their own music. So that's the kind of that's what a revolution is, right? But I'm not counting that, because I'm kind of counting the big nationwide ones.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say with the problem with the tech revolution is that we had so many technological advances back to back to back to back that it almost became a lifestyle in itself. In that 10 years, this is going to be obsolete, and then it's going to be the new thing. It's no longer going to be CDs, it's going to be Blu-ray. Or it's no longer going to be CDs, it's going to be your iPhone.
Well, and then that's why my reply to that is you have to look at what tradition died, because there's not a really revolution between Discman and iPod. As much as Apple would like to make you think it is, it's just you've now using solid state versus a disc, and the quality is slightly better. But you're still listening to your stuff in your headphones. Bluetooth is also, I actually remarked to my wife that, like, even though Bluetooth is the whiz-bang technology of today, it's like, okay, so I don't have a cord now. Like, if I went back to like 1995 Alex and tried to explain why Bluetooth is great, it'd be like, okay, so you got rid of the cord? That's it? I said, that's fucking it? Like 30 years and I can just get rid of the cord. That's it. Does anything else get better, Alex? I was like, not really. It's all bullshit. It's like, so that's not really the tech revolution. I would say would actually probably be the internet. Obviously, it'd be internet.
Internet, yeah, internet would definitely be a big one.
Stuff doesn't have to have a begin date. It could have a range, right? So
yeah.
What I'm saying is, and the thing is, a lot of the revolutions in the world come from America. Like, we started reverberating with revolutions. There's a revolution of 1891-ish. I don't know. I'm not a good date person, but democracy revolution that all of a sudden that America with Theodore Roosevelt. Now democracy is the thing that we export, starting with the Spanish-American War.
Mm-hmm.
And now democracy is the morally righteous thing to do. This is on the democracy revolution with Theodore Roosevelt was on par with abolition and prohibition in terms of being moralistically nagging. And I think it led to started leading to the death of Europe as well.
Why does it seem like every time we try to do something moralistic, it just blows up in our face and ends up, going badly?
I think God would probably have the answer for you.
Yeah.
We keep making our own moral systems and they keep ending disastrously.
Yep.
It's almost like there's some sort of pattern.
Yeah. I feel like that might be almost historically universal somehow.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm very anti-revolution, because there's always a moral framework to it.
Well, yeah, and they're hyper rationalistic too.
Yeah, exactly. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Exactly. So, like, the internet revolution, the moral thing there was connection, progress. Like, technology always has the word progress in it. It's undetachable from the word progressive, because that's what it's doing. It's always doing that. It's always changing the way that you live and work. Maybe not for the better, right? I would say that 2020 was a revolution, and it was the COVID revolution. And it was essentially...
What died?
Social integration. That's what died.
I mean, it'd been dying for a while, but it got killed.
Yeah, it got shot pretty good. Internet revolution was the start of social disintegration. I don't know. I'm going to put 2000. When did I get broadband? That's what I'm going to put internet revolution. Because, like, a modem is like, okay, whatever, total
2000?
nerds. 2000?
2000, yeah.
4, 3. I'll just put 2000. Sure.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, internet revolution. And the internet revolution just continued. So I'm just going to put the word, like, plus on here. Because it started supplanting everything. Music, video, entertainment. Like the revolution that you could say streaming it's plus because it's still going.
Yeah.
Like streaming has destroyed Hollywood. Hollywood is an over a centuries old powerhouse of American influence and
it's going through a slow and painful death.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be on Beggar's Row soon. It's going to be madness. Yeah, so America goes through, and America creates all these revolutions, which is probably why the Europeans hate us so much. I don't mind it. However, I'm like, listen, we are the roller coaster operator, and we just keep hitting the lever. And the poor kids who are on the entire planet is on the roller coaster, and we just keep hitting the lever. It's just like, now you're going again. As soon as it comes into land, we're like, here's another one and another one.
Lever, run, lever.
I don't know that as a people we're actually that revolutionary. I mean, I think we are, quite individualistic and enable people to just try shit. And this results in some pretty radical, winner take all dynamics. But I don't think it's with any sort of intention at revolutionary action. And most of it doesn't, most of our like revolutions don't really touch our political self-concept. It really is evolving around this, free self-determining like group of individuals kind of attitude.
I think you're right, and I think a lot of it is the protections that our framework has on individuals, things like Second Amendment. Like, I know that has nothing to do with what you're saying in particular, but these sort of protections that are listed out to really allow citizens to be self-governing and to make these massive industries and kind of spring up out of nowhere. It's the fact that we are able to build from the ground up that I feel like is very unique to American culture and allows for this to happen.
Mm-hmm. We're very cellular and self-sufficient, which sometimes stems from our individualism, which also gives us like the propensity towards social disintegration.
Right.
But to your point though, Alex, I think you're right, is that we have a central pillar, and it's kind of like America is like started out as like a raw piece of marble where you had a lot of stuff that's detritus, like this is detritus. We've been doing it this way for a long time. And every revolution that we've had internally, though, it has been centering around what is America inside, which is why, like, when Trump got elected in 2024, I was like, what is an American? That's the first thing I want to know. Like, who are we now? Because I thought we were something else, and now we're something different. So tell me America. And I don't try to tell America what we are, because America she's a real bitch. Like, she'll tell you exactly what she is if you listen. But
I think the Trumpian revolution is actually like a reassertion of who we have been forever. That's just been kicked to the sidelines by an upstart insurgent class.
Well, that's why I don't consider Trump a revolution, right? Like, yeah, you're exactly right. He's a counter-revolutionary that's trying to stop other incoming revolutions they're trying to change America. Like, he is just a reassertion of what America has always been, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah.
Which is why I support him. I'm very counter-revolutionary. You can always increment versus revolutionize.
Well, also the funny thing about trying to be conservative, like trying to be returned to 50s sort of thing, is you're at like the decade of the most intense, canonization and establishment of this, this insurgent elite that's trying to take over and transform the country. And it's like, our political self-concept and representation was undergoing exceedingly dramatic change during that period. That does or was being codified, and it does not at all resemble what America was traditionally.
Wanting to be in the 1950s is usually a tell for me if someone's a materialist. If they're a real American, they're like, I want to be in the 1890s, 1880s. I was like, that was the best time to be in. That's the best American time, We were the most like if you look at all the stuff that was either getting invented, being written, the refinement of America, the building of its cities, the founding of the West. You know, the sort of like that was when the West was sort of being won as well, like being connected with railroads and stuff. That was when America
not just being won, but being turned into the country, as it were.
That's the American.
Like it was being tapped and harnessed.
I appreciate that time, but I prefer modern day.
I don't know. I don't know.
I like modern technologies. I like air conditioning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but do you like rugged men? Big rugged men. I don't know if I just showed you like a portal. Here's a portal like 1890s, and you like see a house with a family and everything like that, and see the men that are there. And I show you the dead men, modern day, and it's like you got some Destiny-looking dude playing video games, playing some Dota 2.
Oh God!
I think if you put women in that moment, they'd be like, and then run to 1890s. I mean,
people looked quite different then too.
I think that's really kind of damning of modern culture when you put it like that. It's like,
I've seen videos of like people attempting to analyze the phenomenon, and the funniest ones are like, oh yeah, because people are so much healthier now. Like, are you insane? Are you actually dumb?
Yeah, it's so bizarre because I'll see pictures of like 100 years ago, and it's like, oh my God, all of these men are hot. And you look like I'll walk down the street, and it's like, oh my God, all these men look like big dumplings.
I'm gonna have to redact my passport photo from when because I have a photo of myself when I lived in civilization versus now. And the change is so different. It looks like you have a rescue animal that was like kept in a bathroom its whole life, and then like you bring the rescue animal to a proper nature reserve, and you see it grow out. It's healthy. That's what it looks like. I look like I look terrible. Let me see if I can dig it up. But I want to just share screen here. Photo of 1890s men. Let's just pop in here. There we go. Here's some men. Here's a man.
Oh Lord, I'm bracing myself.
Here's some men. Do you see it? Oh shit, I didn't have it up here. Sorry. There's some men. There's some men.
I can't see him very well.
I know, right? Can I go to here?
I know I'm a hypocrite talking from my t-shirt right now, but like, man, we fucking dress like slobs. It was actually super apparent to me, like it's a general curse of modernity, but it was most apparent to me when I went to Germany and was first walking around Berlin. I'm like, holy shit, the Germans are badly dressed people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. This is better. I'm sorry. The share tab thing is busted as hell on StreamYard. It sucks.
Yeah, and it's sort of like the girl in me is like longing, why can't I have this? And then it's like all these men are so upset. It's like, why are all these women so awful? And all the women are looking at the photos like, why? Why can't I have that? I want that.
Imagine if your grandpa looked like this guy. That'd be amazing.
I have photos of, okay. So, quick story. I have photos of my grandpa.
God, your tab situation is
in the
out of
military.
control.
Yeah, I know, right?
And yeah, my grandfather was really handsome.
Yeah.
And he looks like a couple people that I know, and it's kind of weird because like, oh yeah, he looks just like this person I had a crush on. Oh God.
Oh damn. All right, here we go. Here's some these are some renegados. Here we go. These are some young guns. You're gonna find this guy's 19 years old. He probably is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too funny. It's giving me a lot of Native American
thing. Like when you look at old movies and they're like, oh, this is Sean Connery when he's in his 20s, and you're looking at him like he looks like he's 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna just like
that is definitely a thing too. And good Lord, you have so many tabs. Why do you have so many tabs?
Man, you gotta ride the lightning, man.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like if you told me he's in his 20s, I wouldn't believe you.
Zardoz is a good movie. I'll defend that movie. That was wild. You should definitely be on drugs when you watch it. It makes it better. I was on alcohol, which is my only drug of choice. Yes. There's a major difference between what you look like in modernity versus then, and I think we've been better off as
when you're not full of seed oils and fluoride.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're
And
outdoors,
basically
you know?
dealing with constant inflammation. Like, we have such fucking round faces.
Yeah.
I have a round jaw, so there's nothing I can do about that. But
Well, that's different from being like puffy
shit.
and inflamed constantly.
This
Yeah.
is the nerd from your school. This is the nerd.
he's hot.
He's
I know that's Tesla.
I know, right? He's
Like,
in the early 20th century, that man was unfuckable.
this is total.
Ah!
Yeah, I know, right?
This is pain. This is so much pain.
This guy kind of looks like what was it? Who's the YouTube streamer? Oh, shit, I fucking hate this nonsense. There we go. Who's the one who just passed away recently? Alcohol. He was Cobra something. Cobra 88.
King Cobra.
King Cobra. This guy kind of looks like King Cobra.
It does look like King Cobra.
Poor King Cobra. Pour one out for King Cobra. Lemongrass tea sip for King Cobra. Damn, look at this guy. This is just a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably like 17.
Look at this guy's jaw. Oh shit. Who are these people? This guy he's the weird looking one. These two guys, they still look pretty good. Like this still look
there's a lot of facial features that just change over time, or like looks peculiar to eras. Who's that one guy, the comedian guy from the Great British Bake Off? I've heard people say he has 14th century peasant face.
Oh really? Oh yeah. Is it like a sort of a fatty face? Great British Bake Off. Great British Bake Off.
He's one of like the interim hosts. He's not one of the judges. I don't remember. I don't remember his name.
I'm just about to Google peasant face here in a second. I don't see. Oh, is that weird guy? He was from the IT crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, the IT crowd guy?
Yeah.
IT crowd guy.
Yeah, that's 14th century peasant face.
Yeah, he
I
does.
know him. He's from like that one, Taskmaster. I think there's a British show called Taskmaster where they give him really crazy tasks to do. Yeah. He's weird, but he's not bad.
I mean, I think there's certain like physiognomies that you do see, like Noel Fielding. Thank you.
Here we go.
That you see, come and go with time. 19th, early 20th century people definitely had a different look.
Oh, doggy. Cute little
Late
doggo.
18th century Americans also had a pretty different look from them too.
Right, yeah. So if I put in like just 1790s Americans, I know there's no photos, but we're just gonna put portrait.
There's a photo out there of Andrew Jackson in his extreme old age.
I know.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Good old crazy Jackson.
I'm not seeing a lot of patterns here. They just sort of, the funny thing is people today kind of look the same, a lot of them. And these guys all look very different, but that might be ethnic separation.
For women, it may be the makeup, to be honest, because a lot of people really like the same makeup. They manage to change their facial structure to match whatever's popular of the day.
Yeah. Well, Numbers is saying when we were looking at those black and white photos, he's like, I went to high school with like half these guys in a Texas farm town. It's interesting, like depending on the region of America I'm in, like I can kind of tell whether the people I see on the street are from there or not. Like Bay Area people, especially women, have a particular kind of look around there.
Yes.
And like the people in Phoenix have a very different kind of look.
I wonder if that's partially because I've noticed that too, and you can kind of, and I'm one of those people that doesn't look like a lot of people where I live at all, even though I'm from the area, and it's because my parents are not from the area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something I've
lifelong
noticed.
lifelong New Englanders have a look too, and it only gets more pronounced the older they look.
Bit
Like
nosy,
in their
aren't they?
youth, they might kind of look like anybody, but in as they hit like middle age and later, it's like, oh yeah, you're from New England.
Huh.
Photos of the American West. Let's see if I got any good photos of just people. Brave loves giving me these freaking Native Americans. I'm just gonna put cowboys. Screw it. Yes. Anyways, not all revolutions. I think most revolutions are for the worse. I'm very much an incrementalist because you end up losing a lot of stuff. Like these Americans are pretty much dying out. If you want to see them, they'll see. It keeps giving me. I mean, I don't mind minorities. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm trying to like.
Yeah, you're trying to find like old stock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because you pulled up some of the photos you pulled up had a bunch of American blacks in them too, and like these people also look quite different.
Yeah, let's analyze that. I mean, I didn't want to like go down the road of that, but it is interesting. 1891.
I mean, like honestly, I think so much of it is just the absence of chronic tissue inflammation. Not even gonna lie.
What's the cause of that? Just diet?
Yeah, diet.
Yeah. Well, people out
diet and like I keep complaining about it. The 20th century was one of the worst centuries like ever.
Yeah. It's the most inhuman.
Like on many metrics, it was measurably the worst century in human existence. And it was a hyper rationalistic age. Like our food changed, our like health and how we approach health and how we approach medicine and all this stuff.
Education, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and almost all of it was bad. We're finding out in hindsight, like everything we started doing in the 20th century was like the opposite of correct. It's really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Kansas everybody knows that Kansas exam. School exam history, Kansas. I don't even know what to say. Kansas. 1800s. I'm just gonna put 1800s. I don't know.
This is depressing, and I'm already depressed.
Yep. Well, I mean, you said that you'd rather live now than then, and we're challenging that. So we went on this whole road of like, and I put it in terms that I think you could easily wrap your head around, which is big, brawny, strong-looking men.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not like a lot of these issues I don't have to personally deal with because I live in an area that's very like grows your own food sort of deal. So a lot of the inflammation it is big in the city, but it's escapable. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So I see it being an issue with other people.
Sure.
But for me personally, I've managed to escape most of the consequences.
Well, the issue, what I'm saying though, the point at least I'm trying to make is that our many revolutions have been pretty detrimental, and I think that if you go through the American way of doing things, let me remove this and I'll bring back my document. The American way of doing things has kind of led to a lot of problems, and we've thrown out so much. We've thrown out so much baby. I didn't even know there was any bathwater in this tub. It's just been all babies. And the 20th century has been a ton of that. And that's why I'm very counter-revolutionary now, because we're hanging on by a thread of what is an American. And if we continue to lose that, we're extra fucked.
Well, I do think that a lot of the changes that people are trying to push, like healthier food, changes to how we do medicine, getting rid of all the the quick pills and doing more long-term health stuff. I do think things are going in a positive direction in that way.
Yeah, some revolutions are good. But I think a lot of those could be argued as being counter-revolutionary. It's like we're just undoing stuff that was
I wonder how much
I mean,
will change if the SNAP benefits go away, because I know government shut down right now, and that's on the table.
I mean, I don't want to.
Alex and I had we're probably going to talk about this in the post show. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a topic name that shall not be named that is dealing with this domain of problems.
Yeah. If this was a Rumble stream, I'd just say it, but yes.
Yeah. So yes, the culture that was the follow-on to the hyper-rationalization of German pietism and the resultant progressive movement in the tail end of the 19th century and the early 20th century has had a lot of very bad consequences for us. Their political ideas, their technological ideas, frankly, they're downright insane hubris. I'd say it rises to the level of like blasphemous hubris of the pietists and of the progressive movement and the progressive era, whose mindset persists.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, actually, that's a good. I didn't even put the 1960s on here. The 1960s cultural revolution. I'm gonna just put that as the cultural revolution. We've had so many disestablishments of what American culture is that it's very. Oh my god, I don't even have the sheet up. Fucking there you go. There's so many buttons I have to hit to make stuff happen. I'm just boomering it up over here. So I added Hart-Keller Act, which is the 1970s, 1960s Cultural Revolution. Yeah, we've stripped away a lot of what America is.
Oh, the sexual revolution. You should probably add that too.
I'll just put a slashy because it's kind of very related in that cultural sexual revolution. Yeah, and Howley Doodler is saying, like, are you keeping something alive or dragging along its corpse? So the contention there is America alive or dead? I guess is that the contention?
So that's the thing is, like, you know, Sargon in particular, Carl Benjamin will say, "Oh, you know, the Constitution hangs over America like a dead hand." And there was a remark on treaties, not on the Constitution. The Constitution is a stabilizing force in a political equation that is deliberately chosen to instantiate instability at a very high level socially.
Yeah.
You know, it's essentially a countervailing force that enables that to work.
It's pretty much prevented these things from piercing through and destroy, like, cultural. It's allowed people to contain stuff. Like America is like a ship that has 50 sections of its hull.
Right. But there's that I forget who said it, but paraphrasing, tradition is not the worship of embers, but the preservation of fire. You know, any sort of traditional people are going to be going through an evolutionary process to maintain, adapt, keep vibrant. You know, I think
how's that going in Europe?
When they stagnate, the European situation, I think there are a lot of non-obvious contributors to why they are so fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the big ones is they killed all their good men.
Yeah, that'd be a big one. I'm sorry to keep bringing up Europe, but it's such a juxtaposition to what America is. Like, to Howley Doodley, it's like, are you keeping it alive or dragging around its corpse? I don't think America is like that at all because of the nature of our country. But you can definitely, if you would say the same about Europe, it's like, oh yeah, they're dragging in their corpse.
That actually relates here to Howley Doodley's point. Yeah, I was just asking for a clarification. Yeah, so he's saying I asked because you formed it like it's a Dark Souls game, which pretty awesome. I probably spend more time watching people play Dark Souls than actually play it myself. Do you relight the fire? I am actually a big believer that you cannot relight the fire. And you could try to, but it'll always be a pale imitation. And that's why I'm so fanatical about being counter-revolutionary, because I'd rather make sure the flame is preserved, because once it's snuffed out, and you try to find a new age, Your new age is always going to be a degeneration because that fire took a long time, and you don't really appreciate. It takes a lot of hubris to think that you can actually make a new age, right? Like, how do you right now? I'm gonna call out Gen Z as I always do. Millennials are known for having boom clap hey like songs and lots of lame bullshit. We also had dance club bangers. We also knew how to get a woman to want to have sex with us. That seems to be a major problem in Gen Z. That technology is women used to want to have sex with us. That technology is lost. It just doesn't exist anymore. It never happened again. And I'm like, well, it's not obvious though, is it not? Like we're not like birds where we just come out of the egg and it's just pure instinct. It actually there's a intricate process to courtship, and that is technology. It is like kind of lost.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, this is what we talked about a bit in the Dracula discussion is the creation of extremely high-tech men that enabled the creation of extremely high-tech women.
Yes. And right now men and women are very upset with each other. This is going to be a subject for another one. I think Sunday, because Sunday is the serious day.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll have a proposal of the renegotiation of the social contract between men and women to make this work, because right now they seem unhappy with each other. That's not right.
Well, we've gone to like there's a lot of talk about low trust and high trust civilizations. The fact of the matter is, high trust civilizations only exist on the back of high social technology.
Yeah.
If you are in a low trust environment and you came from a high trust environment, when it comes to people in public, to courtship, etc., what you are saying is we've actually technologically retrogressed massively.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, and that's why you said you sent me the meme, which I love. It's the Spider-Man's Dr. Octopus. Yeah. And Peter Parker.
There's no way Liberia has our constitution. Practically a carbon copy, Peter.
Yeah, practically a carbon. I wish I had the glasses. I'll have to get that. Doc Ock is my favorite super comic book character. I love Doc Ock.
I want to see that now.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can.
Alex, feel free to dig it up. It's in our DM somewhere. But yes, you actually have to have the people for the civilization. And what we're seeing right now is that all these revolutions that happened, and I don't actually blame Gen Z. However, I do hold them accountable to fixing their shit, because we all have to, man. Because no one else can. No one else can. It's gonna suck. Fixing your shit sucks.
Oh god. I saw a post the other day of this guy talking about how he was a millennial, not married, had 2 degrees, blah, 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 blah. And he was saying stuff about the Republican Party. And I'm just like, dude, regardless of how I agree or disagree with you on politics, you can't be passive. Like, you don't want to live your life passively.
No.
You have options. You just don't like any of them. And so you're going to whine. It's like, no, you, and it sucks. It sucks that you have lost, like, all these technologies have been lost. I'm sorry, but you have no other option but to try, or you're going to die lonely. And that really sucks for everybody involved. But
it sucks,
options
but
we have.
like, yeah, it's just the case.
I was actually enthusiastically going to die alone, and then because my father instilled the technology in me to find a wife, eventually some lady made me an offer I could not refuse. So I was like, well, I guess my plans are screwed. I was absolutely a bachelor. I was like fully disagreeable, 100%, like 0% agreeability. I was a constant asshole. That was back when I was hyper rational. Very, very, very difficult person to get along with. So hats off to my wife. But like back in the day, you couldn't help it. Like, you'd eventually find someone want to marry. Now it's like, I guess what I'm saying is, if your social technology is correct and you've actually built your people properly, they kind of automatically do what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, they don't actually intend to get married and have a bunch of children and then go to church and all that stuff and propel civilization. But like, what I'm saying, and what I'm also saying now, is that as we begin to degenerate and have all these revolutions that have stripped away all that social technology, I see us pretty much just turning back into Africa if we keep this up.
Right.
But
that's a major risk.
Yeah, it's a major inevitability unless something. All right,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not
Yeah. So failure is the normal state in the course of civilizational development. Like, like maintaining success is hard and requires real differentiated insight to successfully achieve generation over generation. Nothing wins like winning. So like, you've got once you've got momentum, you can keep going a lot. But yeah, unless you are maintaining the differentiated insights effectively, you will eventually stall out and return to Africa kind of thing. I mean, particularly in the American case, the Trumpian counter revolution is very much the traditional evolutionary present Americans attempting to reassert themselves. And like the 20th century being a disaster is not like vague and nebulous. There's a bunch of very specific things we did in the 20th century that are not only bad things happened in the past, but continuing to derange our civilization. Settled state of affairs that are
compared to the damage. How successful do you think it is compared to the damage that was done? Like, I know it's a counter revolution. I think that
basically everything that was massive progress was done in spite of the 20th century pietist progressive mindset.
Yeah. Because I want to think it's very successful and that we are getting a lot done, but like it's a long march through the institutions all over again from the other way.
You have to displace a tremendous amount of people and essentially outlaw manners of conducting yourself and certain ideologies, not formally, but certainly at least with soft social power.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why maybe we'll have a show about this sometime of like, we've talked about the lessons that we've learned from the left, right? Like certain things do actually exist. Like platforming is actually pretty important. Right.
Yeah.
Well, this ties us back to the revolutionary thing. I'll touch on that in a minute.
Oh yeah, sure. Now, that's what I'm saying is that at some point we're going to have to say like what tactics of the left are actually proper, because back in the day you would get canceled for being a degenerate weirdo. Like the bank would just not want to do business with you because it was like a small town bank, and if you're known for like giving bad loans to people or other nefarious activities, they're just like, I don't want to do business with you. It's not a cancellation. It's just like, no, you don't share the same values as I do, and I'm not gonna. Which is ironically, a lot of the people that I want to do that to advocate for the same thing of like, well, I don't share values with you, so I shouldn't have to share a country. It's like, all right, Chad, yes, agreed.
Like that's such an interesting point, because there's a dichotomy there where it's like you should be able to hire and fire whoever you want, but there's such an issue with people on the right getting deplatformed and censored that, like that a lot of people on the right, that whole balance, it's like people talk from both sides of their mouth. It's like, yeah, I wanted to platform that communist because we've been deplatformed and hated for so long.
Yeah, it's kind of come off of the platform's responsibility, and now it's more about the influence of the people who have influence, right?
Yeah. It's really bizarre. And a lot of people that talk like they're standing on principle, and it's like, no, this is different, we swear. And it's like, really, it's just gatekeeping what you like and what you don't like when it gets down to it. A lot of people saying that they're talking on principle are full of shit.
Right. Well, it's about what is there's no declaration of like redeclaration of what is an American. Like what is American? What is this American civilization? Who are we? Right? Which is one of the reasons why this channel pretty much has centered itself around what is an American. Obviously. Like and I like to take stuff to the extremes. Like I'll take someone who is, from a separate country, migrated to the United States very recently. It's like, okay, well, that guy's not an American. Well, then how about if he like got the Medal of Honor? Like he was a veteran in a war, fought for his country, fought for our country, saved a bunch of people, got a Medal of Honor. Okay, is he an American now or not? and I use that as a temperature test. I actually do that on a lot of like heritage American type people. So I'll show them a picture of one of the Medal of Honor winners who fought in Mac v Sog, like in the secret missions in Laos and Cambodia. I forget what his name was. I apologize for that.
Oh, is this a guy with the big glasses?
No. This is Mac v Sog, Medal of Honor. I'm going to look him up and share the screen.
By the way, regarding Luna's point, I think, and I have to actually like work on getting this all typed up in an organized fashion. But I think it is actually entirely consistent with the First Amendment to outlaw Marxism and Islam in the United States.
Oh, I agree with you.
It's essentially one, they both violate the Establishment Clause, like their beliefs implicitly violate the Establishment Clause. It's essentially like I think it's a politics culture change that needs to happen, because it's, like you can't allow bad faith actors like full stop to take advantage of your system. And you do need to specifically outlaw them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that means like, saying yes, the Constitution is consistent with banning Marxism and Islam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say that there's probably a lot of other stuff that we would start wanting to ban, and I think everyone would be on board with it. But
I will say this this principle may potentially outlaw Mormonism, but that I'm a little more vague on.
I think we shot a bunch of them, so I think having to live in Salt Lake pretty much, I think establishes. You ever been there? It smells terrible.
Yes, I have.
And if they'd gone just a little bit further, they would have got to the West Coast, Northern California. It's funny. Mormons are a controversial one.
Yeah.
But
I think Mormonism has actually done the thing that people pretend Islam has done, which is mellowed itself out, and it's no longer like
correct. Yes.
an ecumenical
Crazy
religion
Dutch
of political power.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're allowed to believe weird shit, but you're still an American, and American is kind of a taste.
Right.
It's a bit of a taste.
I think the grounding in existing political principle is you can't have religions that implicitly violate the Establishment Clause. And the sort of philosophical reasoning for it is you simply cannot tolerate bad faith actors. Whatever your rules are, they can't have people whose goal is to fuck with the rules allowed to play.
Yeah. I think it's very funny. I think my rules for Radical has like 60 views, and I'm like, I've absolutely predicted and countermanded all of this stuff already, but all the people who are politically influential have not sat down and thought themselves like, what rules do we have to govern ourselves? Which tells me that the right isn't really a serious political movement. It's just sort of, it's just on feelings. That's it. It's like, okay, this sucks balls.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of that's a big part of why this discussion even came up in the first place.
Yeah.
Is it's actually it's kind of funny that you can almost use this question as a litmus test. I mean, I think a lot of Americans are under the impression that the American Revolution was a revolution, just like they're under the impression that the Civil War was a civil war, when it absolutely was not.
I mean, just based on the name, that's
setting aside, setting aside, was the Northern cause fundamentally revolutionary or not? This was not a civil war. This was straight up a war between two nations. This was a traditional war that we call the Civil War.
That's what they call it. The Southerners call it the War of Northern Aggression, isn't it?
Right. But this is actually a pretty good litmus test for the people who are unserious and the people who are actually like undermining, like Americanism, as it were, is essentially, because the founding fathers are sort of like godlike figures. And, if you want political legitimacy for a cause that was different from theirs, or for a cause that's, a continuation of theirs, you have to co-opt their prestige. And when somebody on the right is trying to tell you, actually, the founding fathers were the crazy leftists of their day, again, a framing that makes no fucking sense in the context of their time.
I saw the one philosopher guy.
Oh my God.
They are trying
philosophers.
They are trying to steal the prestige of your saints for their cause that is against you.
Yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is, like, having sacred veneration is actually pretty important. So, like, right now, the right now is under attack internally because of its netter, no enemies to the right kind of stuff, and there's no vetting whatsoever of who is on the right. So now they're constantly fighting civil strife and like having issues and arguments.
So we're having the issues the leftists had like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, they're doing the Trotsky thing, I think. That's what I think the sort of Fuentes crowd is doing, is they're kind of doing the Trotskyist thing where they get into the movement and then change its trajectory.
Oh, God.
By infiltrating it. I will say, the thing is, hey, man, it ain't our country to say. Like, we can only do what we can, right? Like, if everyone's going to be retarded, it's going to be retarded. It's a big Ouija board we're on. It's a big Ouija board.
Bring your Ouija board. Toss it.
I definitely... it's a question of how do you like carry out this mission, but I definitely view it as like a personal responsibility to stop that shit.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying, is that it's a way for me to stop from blackpilling. I mean, if you see my feed, I am constantly fighting that shit, and I'm also attempting to help Gen Z in person in real life, because that's the only place that I can work well with them. So, by the way, like on the internet, I am like Major Payne from that movie, Major Payne. Have you ever seen that one? In real life, I'm like a drunken Mr. Rogers. That's all. It's like I'm basically Santa Claus in a denim jacket. Very much true. I like my people.
He says some pretty inflammatory things, not just to Gen Z, sometimes at women too. He's been like that for forever. In real life, it's very different.
Yeah, I'm kind of cool down on the women, and I was talking about this with Cosmo last night, is that my expectations are actually really low. Whereas for Gen Z, like men, I'm like, you need to whip your shit into shape like right now. Whereas the ladies, I'm like, ladies don't respond to that. Ladies don't respond. Like, ladies don't respond to shame in that way. In fact, usually it puts them under the gun and they become very counterproductive. Dealing with a woman is a lot like dealing with a horse. If you ever dealt with a horse before,
sure.
You do need to let it know that you do need to let it know that you are in charge. Okay, or else it'll start bucking you and trying to do its own thing and trying to find out where the apples are or something like that. But if you let it know that you're in charge, you better be really gentle, no sudden movements. Something rustles, you got to stay strong. Give it a touch to like let it know that you're anticipating something coming. If something happens unexpected, or if something happens that seems out of control, they freak out. However, they will take you where you need to go if you keep a calm hand. But if you start using shame and punishments and all this stuff like that, the horse just freaks out.
Yeah, that seems accurate, especially because like horses are they're prey animals. Like, they're animals that get skittish early. Like, that's how they basically live. And so
it's funny, so are women.
Yeah. I'm not going to deny it. I know that a man can beat the shit out of me, and there's no way I'm surviving if he starts wailing and I have no way of defending myself like a gun. Even if I have like a bat or something, no. Like, I understand this, and yeah, that's actually a really good analogy.
Some ladies like the Spurs.
No.
So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that.
I didn't mean it like that. Not like that.
Some ladies love it.
Not like this. Like this.
Okay. Some girls have the kink. It's not me. But
no, all girls. It's all girls.
It's like, yeah, some guys on the internet are saying, oh, you gotta, treating women like horses in the way of, oh, you gotta break them in, you gotta beat the shit out of them until they listen to what you say. And it's like,
is that how you break a horse? I think usually what you do is just stay on top of them and you stay in control for long enough, and they'll realize that fighting you is just not worth it. Is usually what breaking. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you actually have to beat the shit out of a horse to break it, unless it's a really bad horse.
Okay, when growing up, I knew horse girls, and they watched all these horse movies, and I'm basing it off of that. Sorry, but in the movies, they would, like Black Beauty and stuff, they would abuse the horses.
Maybe that happens.
Maybe that happens.
The analogy the analogy doesn't extend to women in that. You don't have to do that to women.
Yeah, don't do that.
You have to just basically what you have to do with women is you put up with their shit and you show that you're not changing. Like what Matt Walsh kind of did, changing his position because he's afraid is actually pretty a bad thing. If you start changing your position because they start giving you the business, nagging you, shaming you, whatever, they're going to find you malleable and they're going to see you as a resource and not as a person.
Can I just say,
debatable.
The entire Daily Wire crew is a fucking liability. Maybe not Michael Knowles, but like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh. I mean, and basically everyone who passed through their house and went on to other things. All of them are fucking liable.
Oh yeah, no. Can we?
I
Let's
have
talk
not dealt with them in so long. Oh,
let's talk about Daily Wire.
Yeah, tell me what just happened to those people. Like I used to watch them 10 years ago.
Okay, so first I'm going to start with like Ben Shapiro. The people who are hyper Israeli and hyper pro Israel are all fucking liabilities. Like you keep that in the closet. I need to be a closet Israeli supporter because it's not helping you guys. Like Israel actually doesn't take that much of our money, but it seems like it's huge because these guys keep freaking out whenever you try to touch it. It's like
it's not just in their positions. It's also in their personalities and temperaments that like, Ben Shapiro is just a bitch. Not that he's like a pussy, but he's an extraordinarily bitchy man. And that's just unbecoming.
Is that
if they had like a gigantic Jew on there,
is that like the one thing you touch it and then they flip their shit and start acting like a woman?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, lawyers are going to tend to do that because they make their battlefield is with words.
Right. There's a certain personality type that is drawn to law, and it is this is not all lawyers, but it is certainly a personality type that is attracted by the field and plays to their strengths and biases.
Is it catty men?
Yeah, catty bitchy men.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh god.
Here's the funny thing is like I hate it. One of the things that kind of pissed me off a bit about Gen Z is that I actually agree with most of the stuff they say, but they just do it they just bitch in the most obnoxious possible way. It's like, I also don't want us to be involved with it. I want to use Israel. I want to ride Israel like a old skateboard I found in the attic. I'm going to ride that thing down the driveway and I'm going to do a kickflip. If I snap it, it is what it is. But I just want to use it to get where I want to go. And sometimes what I want to, but I'm not your friend. America doesn't have friends. First off, I believe that. I'm a very George Washington type, is that we don't have alliances. If anybody thinks that like, oh, America, why would you do this to your friends? It's like, we don't have friends. Double middle finger, kickflip. I'm out of here. It's like, we're going to change presidents in 4 to 8 years anyway. We don't honor, like, agreement to what? It's a gentleman's. Yeah, it's funny when Europe honors like, 1,000 years ago, we were allies in some battlefield and we're here again. I was like, Americans would be like, what? That's insane.
I mean, story-wise, that's kind of nice. It's like, oh, we're honoring this 10,000-year-old agreement. Okay, not 10,000, probably more like 100-year agreement. But
what have you done for me lately, Captain Jack? Exactly. Like, what have you done for me lately is pretty much an American value.
Yeah.
So it's like, Israel, keep blowing up terrorists, keeping them out of our way. Can you help us with this issue with shipping through the Suez Canal?
Oh God!
Other than that, we like your guns.
They bombed one of those countries over there, and we had a guy that was in like Qatar, and I had to help get him out because the Israelis suddenly decided to bomb one of those countries.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning this. Yeah,
Israel's a little bit like a dog that gets off the chain, and Trump actually kind of whips him into shape. Has been like jerking that chain back. There are a lot of American evangelicals, and I'll even like give Tucker some credit here of like, I also kind of sometimes hate the American evangelicals because like, well then why don't you go and volunteer for the IDF? Like, why are you dragging us into foreign entanglements? I get it, you guys are evangelical about this, but it's like, fuck off.
Well, yeah, and they have this weird notion somehow that the the new covenant did not supplant the old one, and that the church is not Israel, and that they have special moral duties to the Jews. Is like,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
one of the weird hangovers is like, okay, one of the weird hangovers of the 20th century and of World War II, nobody has special moral obligations to groups. It doesn't exist.
All right, here's
You
another
have ordinary moral obligations to groups. And guess what? Ordinary moral obligations would have prevented the Holocaust.
The funny thing about America is we are such a pirate nation is that we don't even protect our own ethnic groups. Like they'll just get paved over. And I was trying to mention this on the Gold Tier live call with friggin' Harry of all people, but he kind of understood a little bit, I think. Is that forget about migration. Like Americans will absolutely ethnically supplant other Americans. Just even the seeds of Albion will be contagious. We'll just go up and buy your town. Like, oh, you guys had a bad harvest? I guess I'm buying half your town. Screw you.
Oh God!
You know
I'm
what?
thinking about all of the
I need to-
Californians and the New Yorkers that are going to flee after these elections. Please
Oh,
do not come to the South.
I try very much. Like, I am working very hard at being an Arizonan and not mentioning that I'm that I had just left California.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, good sir.
Well, I mean, I went out to Houston a few years ago for a wedding, and I was talking to people and like, mentioning like, yeah, I'm thinking about Texas. Houston's been really, really nice, and they're like, the people I was chatting to are like, well, if you do, just remember why you left.
Yeah.
Like you're in our house, act appropriately.
Well,
The
that's
amount
another.
of people who have not is staggering.
yeah.
The amount of people that have come to my hometown acting like they're the big bad bitch and they could run the place. It's like, oh my God, go home.
How so? Like,
I don't think you'll meet a stupid or smart person than a Californian.
Yeah, I know a lot too many of those.
Yeah, we the best hope is that you can integrate them, because that's what I was saying. We're talking about them like they're migrants from another country, because they basically are. Because America is a lot of countries. Like we need a wet railroad through an area. You'll absolutely like tear up the place, not only to make the railroad, but in the aftermath of the railroad, the entire demographic is going to change. Completely.
It might be a good idea just for like, variations on the theme, like an off-stream watch party for gangs of New York.
That'd be funny. I was about to quote it. Then I thought better of it. I love it. I love Daniel Day-Lewis's accent in that. It's so American. And it's so hateful. He's such a bastard.
It's been a long time since I watched the movie, but I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, Bill the Butcher might have been the good guy.
Yeah, no, actually I think he was.
Like, no. Leo DiCaprio's the villain.
Well, and the reason why we're getting them was because I guess the story is the English landlords were starving them out, something like that. Yeah.
That was I would recommend watching Callum's recent Ireland video.
Oh, I saw the thumbnail for that. Very funny.
Yeah. He essentially opens up with like, look, here's a history of Ireland, particularly the famine and the troubles from an English perspective.
From an English perspective, did he? How true is it?
I kind of want to watch it. I haven't seen that yet.
He was essentially saying like, yeah, the Irish like hugely overblew their like the whole story and are mythologizing it. We were trying desperately to help them, and they were being the people who didn't want to be helped.
Ah, yeah, it's being Irish. That's what I'm saying, though. America has kind of absorbed a lot of Europe's troubles in terms of migrants for a while. And Americans were not happy about it. And I think it was to serve the factories and the Civil War, which was a revolution.
Yeah.
One of the things about revolutions is they also tend to include demographic change. Now that there's at the very least, like the supplanting of a noble class. and often the introduction of immigrant and mercenary classes that are going to be there to stay.
There was actually an earlier plan for Southern secession, in the what is it in the very early 19th century, and it actually got fucked up, and Aaron Burr shooting Alexander Hamilton and then going on the run was what fucked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the southern states were supposed to secede, but they were also supposed to bring New York City with them. And
What?
Burr was the guy who was responsible for making that happen.
Oh my God.
What?
That is so funny.
Yeah, I have to look up the history of this again.
Well-
It's a really bizarre episode.
America is one big pirate ship. And this is just more evidence too. It's like we are an absolute pirate nation. Which and also look at it with the language that we have, right? When Charlie Kirk died, everyone says that could have been me. I am Charlie Kirk. What they're saying is that, like, now that I've framed it in a way that has to do with me personally, now I'm emotionally invested. I couldn't give a fuck about being in his social group or even that he's an American. Tons of Americans die every day, but that one could have been me though. Therefore, I am now motivated to do something. We're a very self-interested nation. We are hyper individualistic. We are hyper. You would say selfish. I would say, like, there is a certain truth to Gordon Gekko being like from the 1980s, being the 80s
Greed
guy.
is good.
Yeah, greed is good. It kind of, I mean, the entire libertarian movement is a distillation of the idea that your own personal self-sovereignty is morally righteous. There is a certain sacredness to our individual rights. We're a very individualistic nation. Attempts to make us collectivist tend to not go super well for super long. And it's always done out of desperation, not so much out of camaraderie. Like, usually it's coal miners being killed by the coal company or something of the like. And typically, so what the Democratic Party's tactic has been from the beginning is create disasters that force collective action. And it's been that way since like the 1860s. It was the plight of the white man for a while until the 1950s, 1960s, when they decided to change their patron group. But,
I mean, there's multiple realignments, and there's changes, periods, episodes, different shifting priorities. Because you also got to remember that the Democrats were for a good 20 years or so were the party against the bank.
that's funny.
Yeah,
they basically were the clean money and anti fractional reserve banking party.
Yeah, and the GOP has kind of been the sell us out to a financial interest party. Whether it's the gold standard or the banks or foreign trade with China.
Yeah,
fucking awesome. I like Nixon. Okay, like I'm not a Nixon hater, but like the gold standard and the trade with China thing is enough to have destroyed America. That's like two different America destroying decisions. Like going back to the gold standard, which is funny because we stopped talking about Fort Knox like suddenly.
Yeah, that's so weird. I remember Alex Jones released a video on that, and he's like, "I'm going to go to Fort Knox," and then it's like, was there ever a follow up?
Oh, it's empty. I mean, there, as far as I know, there wasn't a follow up, but it's because it's fucking empty. It's empty. It's gone. It's all gone. I guarantee you, 100%.
I think so too.
Well,
there's like maybe gold foiled tungsten there, and that's it.
I think of
sorry, France. Sorry, Britain. Your gold's gone. Our gold's gone. It sucks. It is what it is.
Well, like Dan was talking about, either it's going to be one of three things: either all the gold is there, there's going to be all the gold is gone, or there's going to be way too much gold, because apparently there was a lot of seizing of gold in the Middle East while we were over there as well.
Yeah.
So it's like it's got to be one of those three options, and I want to know which one it is.
It's not too much gold. It is not too much gold.
Yeah.
No, honestly, with the kind of political patronage networks that we've had, is there any chance there's too much gold? Any at all?
No, we pay out lots of shady groups, and if you want to do that, you got to using gold is not a bad way to go.
Yeah.
So that's probably just been dark money for yeah. Oh my gosh. It's too funny. It's too funny. Yeah, the
Actually, it might be interesting to just go around and see how many war zones that Pakistan was ostensibly involved in, and just go on treasure hunts and see how much French gold you can find there.
funny. That would be so funny if there actually was like American special forces and American even civilians just arming up and going to, like, if there was no more global government, like what would these pissant countries do to stop you? Like what would stop you from going in? I mean, I sat and war gamed with my wife of all people, like what you'd do to invade Haiti because people want to do it. And I'm like, well, congratulations, you now have a nation full of like retarded people. What do you, there's no like you just turn around and leave.
Yeah,
like,
you have a no value dependency. There's almost no trees because they've all been stripped off because they're like low time preference savages, and you know their immediate neighbor put a wall up to keep them out, and ruthlessly patrols the sea borders to keep them from ever getting in.
See, that's why it's a much better idea to invade England.
They don't have anything either, though, other than English people, and we could just put them on boats and take them here. We got space. We got better land. I mean, no, their land is pretty good, but we got good land here too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take. We just steal English
castles.
Say what?
I want to live in a castle.
Build your own castle. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I had a friend who was a general contractor, and a few years ago, I got to thinking, like, man, you know, ancient Egyptian construction techniques. Okay, there's very compelling argument that the bricks of the Great Pyramid were poured, not cut.
I heard that, and I don't really understand that. I want to talk about that another. That'd be fun if we had just a wacky stream where we're talking about that. Yeah,
I found myself wondering, like, man, great wonders of the world caliber things should be actually not that hard to produce nowadays. And I got a general contractor friend of mine to price out a quote to build another Great Pyramid with modern construction techniques and materials. He said between $20 and $40 million.
Really?
You can just put Great Pyramids up for shockingly small amounts of money. Like, this thing was the largest structure on Earth from, you know, over 5,500 years ago until the Eiffel Tower was built.
Amazing. Your own pyramid. Yeah, Public Library of Alexandria. Probably could do that. You probably have it'd be awesome if you went to the modern Library of Alexandria. Like, we just put it in Alexandria, Virginia, or something like that. And what you do is you want a book and you'd summon the book. What you do is you'd either go and get it for you, or it would print one out and just give you, like, it'll be 2 hours until you have a leather bound copy of the Iliad now in the original Greek. Like, click, do it. Like, just print me out the book. It's all kept digitally, but it's like a made to order books. That'd be rad. That'd be awesome. We have a lot of. I would love to build a house out of stone blocks. I'll have to figure out how to do that. I want to do brick.
Zero R factor unless you had some sort of insulation.
I'll say what? Oh,
the zero R factor.
Oh yeah, the R value of it, the insulation value. I mean, stone takes a long time to heat up and cool down, though. So I'd have to see. I mean, people do live in stone houses now. I should just ask them how it goes. But we do have extreme temperatures here. America also has crazy weather that people don't understand, and we also have soil that's not, like, backed by granite.
Yeah, the amount of people that have freaked out over tornadoes is kind of funny.
I started treating the English like they're kind of homeschool kids, like they just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Like, we have all the videos of all the dads that go and sit on the back porch. It's like, I want to watch this thing.
Yeah.
It's so true, though.
I mean, if you're a husband for a certain number of years, you understand.
Yeah.
Just like, is it? You're just out there drinking a beer. It's like, all right, God, is it today? I've been married for 30 years. I think I'm good. My kids' college all paid for. I'm all settled up. The tornado just goes away, and he just sort of like sighs and takes another sip.
No, it's not really a depression thing. It's a more of I just want to go and look at it. Yes, I need another beer because I'm just gonna. I gotta be drunk to stare at this thing. This thing is cool.
All right, so benign number said my apartment is a solid block of concrete because he used the department store back in the 1920s. The insulation of it is amazing. That's what I've heard about stone and concrete solid construction is that it stays at a moderate temperature. It's going to tend towards the average temperature, and whether that's in the day cycle or a weekly cycle or like a monthly cycle, like how long does it take to heat up and cool down? I think if you just stay consistently a temperature inside, it'll probably just maintain that. And be
I
that
miss
temperature.
living in brick buildings.
I think bricklaying is kind of I'm going to be learning bricklaying hopefully next year. We'll see how it goes.
19th and
prefer
early
brick.
20th century American brick buildings are fucking gorgeous.
They're so
I
good.
love it so much. I'm also so sad that California, like the area that I was in was so ravaged by earthquakes and fires and that you essentially
Yeah.
can't build in brick. And
That's the
like there's
weakness of
whole
it, yeah.
there's whole architectural movements that are just straight up absent from San Francisco because they were destroyed. Like
And
finding a brick building incredibly hard, finding anything art deco also really hard.
I love Art Deco. I don't know if that would work in brick. I'd have to see, but like Art Deco.
Well,
is
no,
awesome.
it's a different architectural movement, but it was in just one of those periods that was
Oh, I see what you're
obliterated
saying,
in San Francisco.
I'm trying to build a lodge on my property where I can have use as a meeting space because I'm tired of having like meet at the library and stuff. I want to have an electronics club and a distillers club in my area.
Mhm.
Meet in there, and I was wondering what the interior decoration would be. And I think Art Nouveau or Art Deco would probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Just to make it a totally different space.
Mhm.
Art Deco is awesome because it is an Art Nouveau and Art Deco are great because they are American styles.
Art Nouveau's like usually more quintessentially French, but yeah, Art Deco is like unbelievably American.
Yeah, it's like power. It's like if you built an imperial city of America,
Mhm.
like it goes well with a factory. It goes well with an L train, and it goes well with a cathedral. It's very
Mhm.
strange. Yeah. So, let me get back to this list here. We're gonna call it here in a second because I'm kind of good on this.
I think we
had a
covered
good
most of it.
conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we make just one more remark about
Oh yeah.
the why this came up again is there is currently a like a subversive fight on the right,
Yep.
where the figures of the founding fathers are still respected, and this is an important question to answer because some people are asking it in deliberately manipulative ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say, I think there's one guy named Max on X was doing it for sure, and I saw that Pascal Emmanuel Gobry had replied to him. It's like, no, not really. The subversion is going to continue until the conservatives get serious about a political movement, and I don't think they're going to see that until they've almost lost it at least a couple times. Probably a post. I bet you that there's going to be a post-Trump civil war inside of the movement. I don't know where Vance stands, and I don't even know if Vance is going to be the candidate. He might be, but I mean, he's got some. I think Rubio's kind of showing him up a lot, and also they might want to get the Hispanic vote, and Rubio would be good for that. Vance is he's a good speaker.
He's a good speaker, and I think a lot of people see him as next in line, but there's so many fights that are kind of tied to him. Like, the fact, I hate to bring it up, the fact that he's married to a girl who's Indian is one of them, and the H-1B visa fight and the whole, all of that stuff. There's a lot of...
It's not going to be the people's choice, though. It's going to be Trump's choice. So whoever he endorses is going to get it. That's pretty much going to be how it goes.
It's also like, man, a lot of people are like Johnny come latelys to JD Vance, and it shows. Like,
Oh yeah, they don't know who he is.
if you had read Hillbilly Elegy, you would not be getting weird about his wife. You would not at all.
Yeah.
No. He's very realistic about the American people. And he's very transformative
intensely
of
so.
And I agree with you. I just know that there's a lot of political stupid.
I think JD Vance.
Because we're infected by a bunch of spiritual leftists.
Yeah. One thing I'd say is that anyone who's motivated principally out of jealousy is spiritually a leftist.
They have a spiritual illness.
Yes, yeah, and that's a lot of. Unfortunately, Gen Z has to cleanse itself of that, because if you're saying I want the 1950s, that is an act of jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying that's a goal for you, is like I'd like to have a 1950s life. That's my goal. That's fine. But if you're like, I've seen so many Gen Zs who are like, I'm a heritage American. You know, this is my country. My family's been here for generations and generations, and this should be my country. And I'm like, well, it ain't. So fucking do something about it. I don't know what you want me to
tell a story real quick? Okay, my mom had a friend who, for the longest time, she wanted this teapot, and it was like one of these porcelain china teapots, really expensive, and she saved up for years and years to buy this teapot because she came from a poor family. She finally bought the teapot, she had it, and she was so happy for all of 5 minutes until she realized that the entire time what she really wanted wasn't the teapot. She just wanted to invite her friends over for tea, and she could have done that with the cheap one. And I feel like that's really what the problem is here with the 1950s, is that they are so disconnected from what they really want. And they don't really know what it is exactly that they really want. They see the advertisement, they say, I want that, and they're misinterpreting what it is that they desire.
Yeah, and they want to be a revolutionary force. And like even saying like to the 90s and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that sucked about the 90s. Like, to be less to remove social media is stuff is one thing. That would probably be the closest thing to getting to the 90s. But I was listening. Oh, go ahead.
Most of what you hate about now is actually the result of some very specific technologies. And like, I don't know if we mentioned this on stream, but like a lot of my 9-point plan, you know, which doesn't deal with things like social media, but it is a lot about killing specific technologies. Most of what you don't like about your time is maladaptive technologies that are doing you damage.
I would the decade I'm looking forward to most is the decade that's coming. I had the benefit of having a terrible childhood that was so I'm not nostalgic at all. I have no amount of nostalgia. I'm always looking towards the future and trying to figure out how I'm going to make that the better future. Nostalgia is jealousy of a previous time, and it will lead to the same disease that makes leftists. And what I see right now is people think like, oh, Gen Z is they're conservative. I was like, no, they're proclaiming themselves conservative. They are leftists. They're just jealous of the 1950s and jealous of what other people have. Basically, almost all their politics comes down to being jealous of the boomers. If you're like an online Gen Z.
Fuentes.
Yeah, he's like the manifestation of. He's actually the perfect manifestation of Gen Z jealous goblin, mutant, spiteful mutant. Is that what Jolly Heretic says?
You watch his facial expression, and it's like this is somebody who is contorted with resentment.
Yeah, he's demonic pretty much. It's like, well, and the thing is, what he is a manifestation of what these guys all feel inside themselves. They're feeling some level of, which I can't blame them for, but
yeah,
I mean, there was once a dog that got caught in I'm just going to tell a story that didn't really happen, but it almost happened here. There was a dog that was like caught up on some thorns, right? And I came over to try and help it, and it tried to bite me and everything. So I took my gun out and shot it. I don't know what it did. It didn't deserve to be in those thorns. And it sure was a pitiful sight. And I tried to help, but it didn't want my help. And it became dangerous. And you got to just shoot it. And I'm not going to like leave it out there to bite somebody else. So it's like, guys, don't be the dog in the thorns that's biting.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to come along and shoot you. And like, do not try to ratio Elon Musk. He's the one who controls your social media. Like Nick Fuentes is the greatest advertisement for the great replacement I've ever seen. Because what these technical elites are going to see is they're going to see like, well, this is what we have to work with. Fuck it, I'll just bring in a bunch of foreigners. Because if we're going to degenerate to third worldisms, we might as well just have obedient third worlders. Is what they'd probably think. It's like, this is so that's got to change. And luckily, it's a very small number of Gen Zs. It's not actually a generational. It's an online thing.
Yeah.
And just it's just a lack of knowledge of what's outside of the online world.
And I wonder how much of it is bots or foreign influence, you know?
Oh, I think a lot of these young men who are genuine Americans are getting caught up in botted social movements. Like they just love if you feel any sort of joy when you get a like on something, you're a product. You got to get off social media.
Right.
You should have disdain for the people who like what you say. Not disdain, but like it shouldn't affect you one way or the other. It should just inform you that like, okay, well, this person is interested in that.
Social media was built off of gambling studies.
That's a good point. So they're kind of just gambling brained. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not part of my 9-point plan, but like sports betting needs to be made illegal again. Any license that's been given to gambling needs to be revoked. Make gambling underground again.
Yeah, it should be
the stock market.
Cancel gambling. The stock market is a little bit different, but it's not that different.
The stock market is a weird situation. I think I've told it before. Maybe I'll tell it again, but not tonight.
It would be interesting
the biggest the single greatest insight I ever got into the current state of the United States economy was given to me offhandedly by an Argentinian economist who just casually drops a bomb like, oh yeah, the reason you never see hyperinflation or anything like that, despite the United States going through hyperinflationary monetary conditions all the time, is it just balloons up the financial and stock sectors. Like that's it.
Right.
We just balloon our capital sector. And we never get real hyperinflation because it's all confined to the capital sector. This is why, by the way, the markets can post all these red letter years. They're not actually growing. It's fake. It's 100% fake.
Yep. Like Nvidia is really the size of like Canada in terms of its GDP. Probably not.
Probably not.
No, it's just benefiting from sponging up money so that we don't have hyperinflationary conditions. By the way, a corollary of this is assets do catch some collateral inflation. This is why new build homes cost $1 million.
Well, yeah. I mean, homes used to cost not very much, actually, even if you go like back to the 1920s. Like
not very much and be pretty high interest rate.
Yes.
In the 1950s, 4-digit home prices were not uncommon in the UK.
Amazing. Well, but the thing is, the homes were not as featured as the homes that are now. I've actually tried to. All right, so a lot of my frustration with Gen Z, which is I think a lot of it is botted. I think like
for sure
8/10 of the Gen Z who's online is a bot.
It's a lot of real human beings not realizing they're talking to a dead internet egregore.
Yeah. And the problem is they start talking like that. So that's weird that your social sphere might be a bunch of robots. Right. Which is why when I find like real humans like Howley Doodly and Benign Number Station, I'm like, yeah, you're my precious boys. Like I'm keeping you because you're actually real people as far as I know. I got all the time in the world for you guys.
It's kind of weird because it's like, yeah, how many of those people are real and how many of them are just bots? And not just that, but like all these big influencers. It's like, oh yeah, they got millions of followers. Do they really? Is that real?
Well, I mean, if you use specifically Facebook enough, you soon realize that if you use Facebook enough, you soon realize that that the Turing test cuts both ways. And there are a bunch of people that you definitely know that are not really distinguishable from bots. So maybe don't put too much credibility into whether or not that that they're human or not, and
Right,
whether or
right.
not they're worth listening to.
Well, and it's the thing is, are they a product of this is why I call them squishes, because they're just very squishy. If you're, and this is why I kind of got pissed off at Matt Walsh this last week. I'm disappointed. I was like, your opinion should not change based on, like, your opinion of morality should not change based on your conditions. Yes, we know Charlie Kirk has died. It is very sad. That's just the plight of Christianity. I was like,
it's also so upsetting that his death is like, okay, it's like the COVID pandemic, like for 2 weeks, like, yeah, we're all in this together. And it actually turns out now at this point, the only people mentioning Charlie Kirk and invoking his legacy are the worst fucking people who don't deserve it.
yeah, exactly.
And everyone who actually appreciated him or came to appreciate him is like, Jesus Christ, fuck these people.
Yeah, exactly. All you can do is make fun of it now. That's all you can do. People are becoming products of the bots. Yes, they are becoming NPCs, and anybody who's being influenced by Fuentes online, I think, is just revealing themselves as being someone who gets influenced by lots of likes and lots of big number go up. Therefore, better change my opinion. I was like, okay, you're a prostitute. You're not really an influencer. You're the influenced. You are a part of this echo chamber between the nothing. Like you are the human who is doing the robot dance in the dead internet, like in the back rooms that we call the internet, and you're just trying to be more like the bots. It's like, you're not an individual person. I think you have to have a certain personality to survive on the internet with your brain intact. Me being hyper disagreeable has been so helpful to me.
So I actually use Twitter for there's a couple of primary purposes. One, share food with my friends, like, food posting is tops. I love seeing other people make food. It makes me super happy.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Two is I jot down my own insane esoteric ravings for my own purposes.
That's funny.
Like, if you see a post on my timeline without text, this is probably note to self of, like, either peak productivity or peak drunkenness Cosma. And I just had something that I wanted to leave an artifact of somewhere so that I can retrieve it later.
That's funny.
But so the great thing, and then, like, talking with friends, engaging in asynchronous conversations every now and again with people I know. The great thing about using it in this way is, like, engagement is not a top priority, but I love it when I get new followers. It's like 90% of the time I'm like, oh, let's click through and see what the bot metagame is like this week.
Yeah. Oh, the number of followers is such bullshit too. What was it like? Was it Obama or something? He had, like, tons of followers, but his posts get almost no engagement.
Yeah.
Or if you get engagement way too fast, it's like, okay, that's not organic. Like 2,000 likes in 4 minutes for a reply or something like that. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is one of the things for, like, Fuentes and the Groypers are known to be a botting group. As is said, it is known. There's some figures, like, if you look at Oren McIntyre, it's like, and if you actually look at engagement with his content, it's like, how is this guy a big deal culturally?
Yeah.
Like, the numbers just aren't there.
Yeah.
No, a lot of the Joel Webbin thing is just coming out of nowhere and being like, actually your content is shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the black pills that you see on the right are just subversives. Like, they're just there to say stuff so you think the conservatives are bad.
Yeah.
And our influencers have so low IQs and are so audience captured that they don't know how to recognize it or call it out. John Humvee wanted me to do a show on that, and I will at some point, probably soon. Of like, no, your influencers are. How do you? It's like rules for radicals, but I'd say it's like that organized level of thought, but for how to suss out your influencers. Like, are they audience captured? And one of the things is, are they always on the current thing, or do they have anything? Like, we touch on current thing, but it's usually there to elucidate a larger point.
Yeah.
Where Tim Pool is like current thing man, and he makes some stupid fucking decisions. I think he's an idiot. He cannot get along. He does not know how to organize people. He couldn't even get someone to run a coffee shop for him. Apparently, he's trying to open a coffee shop in West Virginia. It's like, this is basic business. Like, there's a woman who has like no fucking teeth. No hate on her. She has no teeth. She's like Appalachian as F. She runs a coffee shop here, and it's a good coffee shop. She goes a little heavy on the syrup though. But yes, like, you can't find that. You keep hiring these hipster dudes. That's retarded. It's like, okay, you're really good at pointing the camera at yourself and shouting about the news and shouting Civil War and gaming the algorithm. In other words, we got a lot of people who just game the algorithm.
It's people that can make an extremely lucrative career as, individual contributors, but probably should never attempt to assume managerial responsibilities.
Yeah, his skill set is actually really narrow, and socially he seems incompetent. Like, your social intelligence actually tells me a lot about a person, because even if you are a total weirdo, like, there's a lot of weirdos in history that had pen pals, could have like some close relationships, but it's like, he's had so many relationship issues with with his sphere, like Adam Krigler and stuff, like hating his guts later on, or who's that other?
But the remarkable thing of like the Krigler issue and stuff is like, if the stories are to be believed, it's like, this is small stakes shit. Like, I get having beefs with people, but like, you're fighting over almost like nothing here. Yeah. Like, if this is a biggest challenge in your relationship, like, what the fuck?
What was the breaking point for them? Was it just he wore the MAGA hat or something, or Krigler?
It was some interpersonal drama, and as is often the case for small stakes disputes, it was like chick shit.
Oh, that's right. I remember
fighting over a woman.
That's right. God. I remember that. Yeah, that's low intelligence, lowbrow shit. Man, I think he does it for the ego and not so much for the money now. Because if it was for the money,
what's the next $1 bajillion?
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, did Krigler run? I haven't followed Krigler for a while. I was actually on his. By the way, I was on his show when he first started his show.
Shit!
Yeah, it was the farm idea. I like
this was under your previous alias in the Instagram mom space.
God damn it! I hated being homesteading. Sucks. Homesteading is the most fun and masculine thing to do, and all these ladies came in and they did what ladies do, and it turned it into a prestige competition. Women are competitive. Do not ever think like, oh, men turn everything into a competition. Women, you turn everything into a competition too.
It's also like men are actually like really soft on gatekeeping women, like in terms of areas of interest and stuff like that. Like, we're mostly kind of happy for like women to enjoy our things. It's like, and all these complaints about male gatekeeping, it's 100% other women gatekeeping women out of them. It's absolutely all soft social pressure by other women.
What I got to learn how to do is use women to gatekeep behaviors of ladies. To like, what you do is you grab those women who would be a problem, you turn them into gatekeepers against other women just like them, and you just feed them happy points, like pats on the head and prestige. You can just give ladies titles; they just like it. You need titles, they hate it.
you need an apex woman, and then you've got to turn her into a sort of madam of sorts, but she doesn't produce whores. She produces Victorian gentlewomen.
So is this I need to crack the whip? Is this what I'm hearing?
There you go.
Horses need fences. It's for their own good.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Horses need fences. Like if I had a competition of like, let's say I got way into cake decorating, I would make it so the competition cake decorations is like, this is a no photography event. No, we're not taking. There will be a photographer, and he will take pictures, all of the same lighting, all of the same type, and they would be posted on the website with your name on it if you want. And that's it. Because I do not want to, like, I don't want to see this turn into a thing, right? Like you will.
Oh yeah. If you had a confiscate phones criterion,
like, no, we're not doing. Yeah, exactly. You're going to be a normal human being inside of these walls. I will not let you put filters on your fucking cake, because then it's going to start tons of fights, and it's going to be all about the likes. Like maybe just have the cake photos go out in a pamphlet. I'm like, this isn't even going on Facebook. Because I know what you guys, I don't know. I'd have to put some thought into it. But it's like, there's certain things that ladies do to poison their own spaces. It's like, you have to stop them from doing that. And it's like,
I swear it's not all of us, but also this is so like, it's so common. I'm like dying on the inside a little bit.
Man, it's so wild how much like technology, affects. There's the saying, the future's already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Mm-hmm. How technology has these like crazy, almost Cantillon-like effects, but also how the impact of technology is like, as technology accelerates, the wildly variant impacts of technology between men and women is also wild.
Yeah.
I think we're actually at the point where essentially every social technology and social component attached technology is insanely bad for women. And physical technologies are turning out to be only mildly bad for men.
Yeah, we're kind of the thing is, men are almost in a different world. Like, we're pretty resistant.
No. Psychologically, men and women inhabit almost like incomprehensibly different worlds from one another.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even like we're in a different world, as in, I guess I'll jump off of this one really quick. It was like, men are weird in that our material circumstances. If you're taking care of your own self, we kind of see everybody as more or less equal. Of like, yeah, Donald Trump will go out and shake hands with the help, and they'll talk. And unless they break his limestone, then he goes fucking ape shit. Unless he'll treat them fairly well. And we don't play a lot of games. Like, we just know you're not in the game with us. Okay, it's fine. We don't play the status games there. I guess what I'm saying is that men don't bring a lot of baggage when they go into a place. Mm-hmm. You'll never know that some men are millionaires. You usually know when a woman's a millionaire.
This is true. Like, I remember going to, you know how I do the symposium every year for my work? I go to, yeah. So I'll just like be sat my stand, with the little banners and everything. And I'll have these guys that are blue jeans, nice top, just kind of walking by, or, polo shirt and whatever. Or some guy that looks like borderline, he hasn't taken a bath in a week, and I'll talk to him about whatever space stuff. They'll leave the cards, and then my boss will come by. It's like, okay, give me the cards. I hand him the cards. He's like, wait a minute, where'd you get this business card? I'm like thinking in my head, oh, the homeless guy. And then he's like, this is the president of blah, blah, blah enterprise. Yeah. So if
I become a millionaire, like the immediate temptation is like, there will be signs. and the signs will be that like my level of dress and personal presentation gets way worse.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is like guys kind of do counter signal our own status, mostly because as our confidence builds, our confidence allows us to dress down, whereas I think for ladies they always need to have a dress up. Now this isn't just, and this is not about dresses. This is not about dressing. This is about social media presence. This is about everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so much of it is a function of being object oriented versus relation oriented.
Yeah, ladies kind of live in the opinions of others a lot, and there's a biological reason for that. So I don't like, ooh, women bad.
Yeah. There's biological reasons for all of this. Man, you talked about like getting along really well with women. I actually like generally find the company of men significantly easier.
Yes, it is. Like yeah, there's a reason why like Luna here, she's hanging out with the dudes.
Yep.
I would probably have I wouldn't mind having a lot of, if I had a group of women on this, it would be to propose, like, renegotiate the social contract between men and women and just get their side of it, and then get the men's side of it, see how it goes, which we will do probably in the next 2 weeks as I write it up. So, by the way, yes, I should have started the show with this. Shit. That's all right. Format change. Thursday nights, we cannot keep our shit together and our conversation wanders. Sunday afternoons or Saturday afternoons, whether it may be, those are going to be more prepared ones where one of us has the speaking stick and pretty much leads the discussion and is essentially presenting it to us. I would recommend questions during if it's a really good question, but like questions after means whenever you do questions after a presentation or a skit or whatever you're doing, it usually means the person is going to filter like their top question. So you're going to get nothing but good questions usually. So I see the benefits of either. Questions during can lead to real derailments, but it's up to whoever's presenting. So that'd be a good place for Cosmo to present his points for how to get. Is it all right if I say it? Not the N-word one, but the other one.
Oh, sure, the other one, yeah. The anti Thomas Malthus index or the anti Malthus hypothesis and why total fertility rate matters.
Oh, that's right. There's football on Sunday. Isn't football over? Isn't the season over Thanksgiving-ish?
Football.
I don't know. I don't know anything about
football ends like January, February kind of time frame.
It's too cold to be kicking balls around. Anyways, okay. Well, maybe Saturday then. We'll see how it goes. But yes, we'll walk stuff through. We might also start doing content that is the other format I talked about like 2 weeks ago with you, Cosma, where we're recording. And it's like a 15-minute discussion.
Yeah.
And we do those like micro podcasting essentially. But yeah, we'll figure out what the format is. But Thursday nights is unrainable, and frankly, I don't like reining it in. But another day, probably just whenever we have something to present, we'll do something more orderly. Where there's
I like the idea of having a wild stream because I'm never sure where exactly I should be calibrating this one. So
correct, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You don't know what the interest is going to be too. Like
so the next question is do the book clubs go in the Thursday or the weekend streams?
I think it'd probably go on the weekend stream. I mean, it depends on how serious you want to take the book, right? Like if it's like let's going to drill down into it. Like Dracula, that would be a weekend one. Frankenstein, that could go either way.
Yeah. Well,
we'll have a pre-discussion to see how we felt about it and then assign
this
accordingly.
Yeah, that would probably be better for like just in terms of doing a summation of what had happened, doing that as the plan. And then we talk about kind of briefly while walking through it, and then afterwards doing like a more discussion on it and the questions in that sort of format. Kind of like how we handled the Frankenstein one, more or less, rather than the Dracula.
Right.
Yeah, the other ones I want to do is I wouldn't mind getting into Edgar Allan Poe. So honestly, that would probably be the serious book review, serious literature review would probably be this Sunday or Saturday, whichever day. It's whatever day that's good for us, essentially.
Right.
Not in the evening because that's when when me and Alex Cosma are doing our drinking.
Yeah.
We're not going to be staying
the beauty of the internet is replays are forever.
That is correct. So we may be. I hate to miss you guys at the live, but you could rewatch it. There will always be Thursday if you want to get the sort of social benefit from it. I hate the word parasocial because it's just straight up social. I'm literally just talking to you.
Yeah.
Right now, Hadley, Dooley, and Benign. I just can't. You're talking to me. It's just one of us is using if my dad has another stroke, it'll be just the same as talking to him.
There will always be Thursday, except for this Thursday, there will not be a me because I'll be in St. Louis or in the air to St. Louis.
I will. Now, I missed last one because Cosmo couldn't go. I'm just going to do the Thursday shows regardless, I think, whether anyone's here or not. And I'm just going to... Solo streaming is as scary as shit. It's like Garth from Wayne's World. Just like when they take Wayne away, just staring at the camera, doesn't know what to do.
This sounds like a recipe for YouTube strikes.
Oh, God.
Oh,
no. I'm spirit bombing this N-word for like 2 hours straight. No, probably what I would do is I would have my I'd have to get I wouldn't mind having a mobile setup where it's my camera, and I would get a wireless microphone that's a good quality, hopefully as good as this one. And I'd be like in the greenhouse. I'd be talking while I'm cooking. I don't know, splitting wood.
I need to invest in a quality like lav mic headset type setup. Like I'm using these things like for my phone, but honestly, I do want like recording quality. Like, oh, I pick up a phone call and I'm on, this.
Yeah, one of the reasons we picked Thursday benign is because none of us have a lot going on Thursdays. I'm always open to change, but Thursday for me is like, not it's almost Friday, right? Everyone's already like pulled it in, like lowered the gear.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end it there. We're gonna do a little bit of post show, three of us, to just do some planning, and also get all of our N words out that we might have had pent up during the discussion.
Oh boy.
I didn't even talk about slavery in America.
That's like, you want to upset some people when they get into fights about heritage Americans, yay or nay. Like,
I brought that
American blacks are heritage Americans.
I brought that up to one guy, and he's like, "No, they're not. They're like a micronation side of our nation." I was like, "If you say so."
No,
I just replied that blacks are Americans, heritage Americans. They've been here longer than they've probably been here longer than you guys have. They fought in the Revolution too. They fought in all the wars.
Oh yeah. American descendants of slavery have been here longer than my family has.
All right, guys, get your trolls. Have a good one.